St. Catherine taxi driver has been slapped with 11 sexual assault charges for pimping out his 15-year-old stepdaughter.
In news from the rest of the world, as gangs plunge Haiti into anarchy, many are wondering, where is Prime Minister Dr. Ariel Henry?
Facebook and Instagram restored after global outages.
In sports, intense work being done to upgrade the venues across the Caribbean in time for the ICC T20 World Cup of Cricket in June.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, Finance Minister Nigel Clark says the government intends to put forward more programs than budgeted to ensure the country does not underutilize its planned capital expenditures.
In addition to some changes that we'll make, but I think the fundamental difference to try to be in a position where we have more projects available than budgeted capacity.
You'll hear more from the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament examining the budget for the next fiscal year.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, are you concerned that Haitian prison escapees will make their way to Jamaica's shores? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
And in the nation's business at 6:40, simmering tensions in the governing Jamaica Labour Party surfaced in the House this afternoon as sacked Minister Everett Warmington criticizes his colleague Daryl Vaz.
You made a statement the other day where I'm concerned that you disassociate yourself from the statement I made in a location. If it is not within a minister's to do it, then why are you making such statement in the Observer?
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, jm.com, and on the Nationwide app available in Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, March 5, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by the new Crunch Sandwich from KFC. Available in hot and spicy or barbecue for just $600. A finger-licking good deal at KFC.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the government intends to put forward more programs than budgeted to ensure the country does not underutilize its capital expenditures. Dr. Clark was answering questions at today's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee, which is reviewing the estimates of expenditure for the upcoming 2024-25 fiscal year. The Finance Minister says programming projects in such a way will ensure that if one falls through, others can be pursued. Shalois Michael has more.
The government was forced to reallocate nearly $9 billion in capital expenditure during the current financial year due to its inability to get certain projects off the ground. Dr. Nigel Clark says they've had issues in procurement on the part of the private sector.
For this fiscal year 23-24, the projects that fell behind primarily related to one, procurement failures, not on the side of the government, but on the side of private sector entities selected through a procurement process, being in a position where they're unable to fulfill their obligation. Unable to fulfill in a couple of cases because they have not been able to post the bonds that are required, which means we have to do the procurement all over. And in other cases, failure in terms of response to the procurement, i.e. the responses don't meet the criteria and the procurement therefore fails and has to be redone.
To fix that problem for the upcoming financial year, Dr. Clark says the government will be taking a different approach to allocating projects.
What we're going to be attempting to do differently this time, member, in addition to some changes that we'll make in some of the procurement processes, but I think the fundamental difference to try to be in a position where we have more projects available than budgeted capacity, so that if something is falling behind, we can rotate to something else. We'll obviously be clear with those projects that it doesn't mean that this is going through this year, but we have some backups. Because what happens is, let's say we're working on an irrigation project and you spend 3 months on a procurement, and now somebody has won and is supposed to post a bond, or you have to spend 6 months on a procurement, and then they fail to post a bond, and it's a $2 billion capital expenditure, the government is left on the hook. No, there's nothing that the government can do.
Dr. Clark says more details will be provided during his budget debate presentation later this month. He says the country must execute its capital expenditures properly.
There's nothing that has the capacity to improve quality of life like capital expenditure and public investment. And so the country runs the risk of falling behind if we cannot grow and execute on our capex at a required rate. And I'm on record for being concerned about that from 2 points. One, the point of sort of crowding out capital expenditure and not enough resources in the budget left for capex. But the other point is one you raised, having made the allocation for capex, being in a position to execute on it. So that is a change of strategy I'll be trying this year.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Simmering tensions in the governing JLP over the sacking of former Works Minister Everald Warmington surfaced in the House of Representatives this afternoon during the deliberations of the Parliament's Standing Finance Committee. Warmington, who is the MP for Southwest St. Catherine, criticized Energy Minister Darrell Vaz for comments he made, distancing himself from his former cabinet colleague. Mr. Warmington questioned Mr. Vaz's position about distancing himself from his controversial vow to starve a PNP councillor of resources in his constituency.
Minister, is there any method or as such within your ministry or scope where you can make allocation to councillors?
Not to my knowledge, member.
Is there such a privilege or opportunity in any other ministry? Do you know if any other ministry can do that?
Not that I know of.
But then, if that's the case, so you're making statement. You made a statement the other day where I'm concerned that you disassociate yourself from the statement I made in allocation. If it is not within a minister's to do it, power, then why are you making such statement in the Observer? I said to a general question. It was a general question. He's making that be associated with allocation from ministry councillor.
Member.
Yeah, you know that it's not possible. Then why are you making such statement?
Mr. Warmington was fired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness following a meeting at Jamaica House last Thursday. In response, Minister Vaz again made it clear he does not condone partisan victimization. Mr. Warmington could be heard chiding the minister in a sotto voce rant.
Chairman, let me make it clear for all who have ears to hear and eyes to see. I do not support partisan politics at any level, whether it's a council level, MP level, or government level. And as a minister of government, that will never happen under my watch in any way, shape, or form. That is beyond my pay grade.
Member will. Hello.
That's beyond my pay grade.
Minister, the mic is not on for the member, and so you don't have to respond to it. Let's concentrate on the spokesperson on the opposition side.
Member Paulwell.
Member Paulwell, you have the floor.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like you have learned anything.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, Michael Jackson, says Everald Warmington should resign as Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine. She made the call following the Integrity Commission recommending to Parliament that the former minister be removed from 2 committees providing oversight and review of its work.
Accountability is not those also forcing you to act and holding you to account. Accountability and the true testament of leadership also demands that you look within. You do some introspection of the words and the actions that you have taken. And in that regard, we hope that Mr. Warmington would in fact do some self-accountability and tender his resignation as a member of Parliament. At this point, we don't believe that he should continue serving on the parliamentary committees, but certainly we believe that he ought to tender his resignation as a member of Parliament. The integrity of the House of our Parliament demands it.
Warmington has faced criticism from the public after comments he made at a political meeting last week surfaced. Speaking to JLP supporters, Warmington vowed to starve all PNP councillors of resources to spend on projects in his constituency. Following the controversial remarks, Warmington was fired by Prime Minister Holness as Minister of Works. Ms. Jackson noted that the Electoral Commission, in its role as Office of the Political Ombudsman, should also state whether it's investigating his, Warmington's, conduct.
We're calling on the Electoral Commission of Jamaica to indicate to the Jamaican people, where are you with your own investigation? And while we take note that these public bodies ought not to be doing their work in the media spotlight, it would certainly be important for the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, the commissioners, to indicate to us that they themselves have taken note of Mr. Warmington's comment, and they need to indicate to us what the possible courses of action may very well be, because we have to be assured that this move that the legislators had made to give the commissioners this ombudsman role is certainly working.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice.
Jamaica Labour Party General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang says the party will be seeking a magisterial recount in 2 electoral divisions in St. Catherine. Speaking with Nationwide News on Monday, Dr. Chang says both Above Rocks and Ginger Ridge were won by the PNP by thin margins. In Above Rocks, the JLP's Neil Powell lost to the PNP's Desmond Chambers by 11 votes. It's a similar story in Ginger Ridge, where the JLP's Jeremiah Edwards lost to the PNP's Ralston Wilson by 8 votes. The recount in Above Rocks has already begun. Dr. Chang says other recounts are also under consideration.
I told them in St. Catherine that I'd like to go there, and a couple of that the party is supporting to go there. I think they were lost by under 30 votes or under 20 in St. Catherine, and there. But there's for a reason that MP might be taking a look at, but those are the 2 that the party officially have to be looked at the magisterial recount. That's Ginger Ridge and Above Rocks.
Dr. Horace Chang, General Secretary of the governing Jamaica Labour Party.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark. On Tuesday, March 12, Dr. Clark will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2024 to 2025. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark's opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 12, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 12.
Continuing the news, the 44-year-old St. Catherine taxi driver accused of sexually assaulting and pimping out his 15-year-old stepdaughter is to appear in court on April 12. The man, Kirkland Young, otherwise called Carl, is from White House District in Linstead and White House in Ewerton in St. Catherine. The Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA, has slapped him with 11 charges, including failure to report to the Children's Registry as a repeat sex offender. Norige Banton has more.
Kirkland Young has been charged with 3 counts of rape, 3 counts of conspiracy to rape, 3 counts of aiding and abetting rape, sexual touching, possession of child pornography, knowingly causing or inciting involvement of child pornography, conspiracy to grievous sexual assault, procuring grievous sexual assault, trafficking, misprision of a felony, and failure to report to the Office of the Children's Registry. The allegations are that between January 2022 and December 2023, Young fondled the girl and, on multiple occasions, forced her to have sex with other males. According to the complainant, the abuse started when she caught Young looking at her through an open window. She says she wrapped herself in a towel and went to her bedroom to get dressed when Young entered and fondled her breasts. On another occasion, in March 2023, Young reportedly took the complainant to a house in Keystone on the outskirts of Spanish Town. She says that while at the house, Young allowed another man to hold her down and have sexual intercourse with her against her will while he watched. The teenager says her stepfather took her to that man's house on 2 other occasions. She says both times the man sexually abused her. She adds that he threatened to kill her if she reported her abuse to the police. The schoolgirl also recounts that one day in January, Young took her to a boy's house where he gave her a cell phone. She reports that her stepfather told her to perform oral sex on the boy and record the act on the phone. The young girl says Young later took the phone with the recording and forwarded the video to his cell phone. She details another incident that occurred sometime between October and November 2023. She recounts that she was at home when Young took a boy known to her to the family house. The teenage girl says at that time, Young collected $1,500 from the boy to have sex with her. Sissoko reported that it got wind of the situation after the complainant's mother was called to her school regarding an incident in which she was involved. The school referred them to the Sissoko office where the complainant was interviewed and a formal report was filed. Young was charged on February 20. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
The St. James Police seized 2 firearms Tuesday morning during an operation at the home of a man killed during a shootout with the security forces in the community of Flanker last week. The man, 25-year-old Peter Johnson, was shot and killed by members of a joint police military team after he reportedly opened fire at them near Flanker Primary School last Monday. The school was being used as a polling station for the February 26 local government elections. The incident disrupted voting for about an hour and a half. Some residents also protested briefly, saying he was shot in cold blood and the gun seized had been planted on him. But the police say Johnson was a known criminal who was wanted for several crimes in the parish. The commanding officer for the St. James Police Division is Senior Superintendent Vernon Ellis.
After the incident on February 26th, with the fatal arrest of Peter Johnson, O.C. Jolo, we would have received several death threats against members of the security forces who were on duty that day. A premises connected to Johnson was searched this morning and the weapons were found.
SSP Ellis says an AK-47 was among the weapons seized.
The targeted operation this morning by members of the security forces was successful in that we recovered an AK-47 mini rifle. We also recovered a camouflage suppressed submachine gun. This is part of our commitment to combating violent crimes and dismantling criminal gangs in Jamaica.
Senior Superintendent Vernon Ellis, commanding officer of the St. James Police Division. One man was apprehended by the police while trying to evade the operation.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, equipping Jamaica for success. Charles O'Connor Consulting Network Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Jamaica's Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, says his government is taking a keen interest in the ongoing crisis in Haiti. Dr. Chang says the recent jailbreak of thousands of criminals has serious implications for Jamaica's own territorial integrity.
Yeah, we have to take an interest in this. Yes, remember Haiti is the source of a lot of our drugs for guns trade, and there are linkages between Haitian gang and Jamaican gang. But so we take note of it, and we think to do a number of things. One is to get as much intelligence on the ground out of Haiti as possible. Of course, the situation in Haiti is very, in Haitian capital, Haiti is not that really. The Haitian Port-au-Prince is currently very unstable, but we have to, explore whatever avenues we have to get the best intelligence we can to see what their movements are. A lot of these prisoners who are high-value prisoners are looking to reinforce their position in the gang control of Haiti, which is another issue that has been dealt with by the international community.
Dr. Chang says this has triggered increased monitoring of Jamaica's borders.
The Minister of Defense have asked that the KDFN has much resources to monitor our borders because we cannot afford to be overwhelmed by not only the population of Haiti, which is 500 hours existed there, well, so not so much the whole population, but Port-au-Prince in particular, which is a pretty large population, maybe more than the total population of Jamaica. And of course, criminals moving here as well to continue their activity with local link to this. So we are doing to increase monitoring of our border area or territorial waters at that side of Jamaica.
Dr. Horace Shang.
As gangs in Haiti continue to wreak havoc in the country, questions abound about where is the Prime Minister Dr. Ariel Henry. The embattled leader who assumed power following the 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse has been notably absent since the country's latest and most serious outbreak of violence started last week. Dr. Henry has stayed silent as he crisscrosses the world from South America to Africa with no announced date of return. Meanwhile, armed groups have seized on the power vacuum. They tried to take control of Haiti's main international airport late Monday, where Henry would likely land should he return home. The airport was closed when the attack occurred, with no planes operating and no passengers on site. It remained closed on Tuesday. Schools and banks were also closed Tuesday, and public transport had ground to a standstill.
And Meta says it has resolved a technical issue which caused Facebook, Messenger and Instagram to go down earlier today. Hundreds of thousands of users worldwide were unable to access them for around 2 hours. People trying to log onto the websites and apps were finding error messages and unable to refresh their feeds.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories in nationwide news at this hour, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the government will put forward more programs than budgeted to ensure the country does not underutilize its planned capital expenditures.
Simmering tensions in the JLP government over the sacking of Everald Warmington surfaced in the House of Representatives this afternoon.
You disassociate yourself from the statement I made in a location. If it is not within a minister's to do it, power. Then why are you making such statement in the Observer?
I do not support partisan political politics at any level.
JFJ's Michael Jackson says Everald Warmington should resign as Member of Parliament.
A 44-year-old St. Catherine taxi driver charged with pimping out his 15-year-old stepdaughter is to appear in court on April 12.
I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by the new Crunch Sandwich from KFC. Available in hot and spicy or barbecue for just $600. A finger-licking good deal at KFC.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, will always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams. Every day helping you succeed, that's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Good afternoon with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby. We kick things off with some football as Jamaica's national senior men's football team will take on defending champions USA in semi-final 1 of the CONCACAF Nations League at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on March 21. In semi-final 2, Mexico and Panama will lock horns. Coach of the Reggae Boards, Amir Halgrimson, says the tournament gives him more time with his players.
it means that you have time with the players. Normally, especially here in the CONCACAF region, when you have players coming from all over the world, you lose normally 1 day of training compared to when you're playing with a European team, with the European players. Everybody is ready to train on Monday. So a normal FIFA window gives you maybe 2 trainings in a game and 2 trainings in a game. So you basically cannot spend a lot of time with the players. Tournaments like these and Copa America in the summer gives the coach a month with the players, so you can grow the team faster, you can gel them together, and the players will interact better on the pitch, staying together, knowing each other, not only as a football players but as persons. So that is really helpful to build a team for the future.
Hamir Halgrimson, USA won the first 2 editions of the tournament, and their coach Greg Berhalter says they want to make it 3 straight.
I think back to the last 2 tournaments and some amazing games, amazing spectacles. The first game in Denver, the final against Mexico, was a great final. And then last time in Las Vegas against Canada was another great final. And for us, it's really respecting our opponents, respecting the level of competition. Nations League is a fantastic tournament, and there's 4 high-level teams here. So for us, it's staying humble, focus 1 game at a time, but really, desperately wanting to get our 3rd title.
Greg Berhalter. These decisive matches are part of an exciting week of CONCACAF men's national team football in the Dallas metropolitan area, which also includes the 2023-24 CONCACAF Nations League play-in at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas on March 23. Known to cricket as veteran cricket commentator Joseph Rez Pereira says work is on in earnest to get the venues across the Caribbean ready for the ICC T20 World Cup. The tournament is being hosted by USA and the West Indies from June 1 to 29. The Caribbean islands of Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Guyana, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago will host matches. Pereira says the ICC has been monitoring the construction.
Kensington changing their light. They're incorporating some new lights, cost-saving lights. I think St. Lucia is also changing their floodlights. They have taken off the entire roof of the Johnson Charles stand, which is the major stand that holds close to 6,000 people. That has been totally redone. The Dar es Salaam is virtually a construction site. It's closed to the public. That is the case in Guyana. That's the case in St. Vincent. That's the case in Antigua.
Joseph Reds Pereira. Now finally, Taki High and Black River were among the winners of the Issa Rural Schoolboy T20 cricket competition today. Host Taki beat Ocherius by 8 wickets. Batting first, Ocherius were bowled out for 73. Naheem Brown made 9 and Damar Johnson 8. Jordan Pinnock and Demario Newton took 3 wickets each for Taki. In reply, Taki made 74 for 2. Javier Green made 35 and Marlon Williams 21. Rashawn Lynch took 2 wickets for Ocherius. Meanwhile, home team Black River, led by a century from E.J. Spence, beat Cornwall College by 8 wickets. Cornwall College were bowled out for 136, with Shayed Samuel making 29 and Deshaun Evan 25. Jamar Morgan bagged 3 wickets for Black River. Black River, in reply, made 140 for 2. Spence clobbered an unbeaten 102. I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern premium affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:30.
Love, care for, and protect our women and girls.
We are your family. We are your friends. Don't hurt us.
End violence against women and girls.
The temperature by the Office of the Prime Minister is
29 degrees Celsius in City Kingston and 27 in Montego Bay.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, we'll help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams. Every day helping you succeed, that's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams.
We're celebrating 79 years of quality and style at the Ashley Furniture Home Store. We're giving you, our valued customers, 79 discounted styles with up to 50% off dining, lounge, and bedroom pieces. Plus, get 30% off Dacmore pieces with the purchase of a Delante Queen or King bed frame. Get a free oversized chair with the purchase of a Belzani 2-piece lounge set. Financing is available. The Ashley Furniture Home Store. This is home. Offers end March 31. Conditions apply.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration land surveys also included, affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Time to pay your tax? Relax! You've got this with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes and get a 1-month payment holiday. New cardholders get first-year annual fee waived. Plus, you get up to 55 days interest-free and earn unlimited reward points every time you spend. So when you're ready to pay your tax, relax! You've got this. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
JampJA.org. Mind the business JA with Jamp Online. Are your business? They keep your government in line.
Funded by the European Union and the UK International Development.
When the smoke clears and the battle has been won, true warlords still a stand.
When the smoke clears and the battle has been won, he's still having fun. Father, husband, writer, producer, singer, DJ, national OD, but him never overdose on the hype.
You're messing with my heart.
Talk show host, yeah, he made the cut. So we need to know the man on a mission. There was a time it seemed impossible. But we will hear some of the story, maybe some secrets.
Lord, I pray.
Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: Marshall in town.
Marshall in town. This is the Marshall town.
You know how we do. Choo-choo-choo, woo.
Marshall in town. Tell them beware Marshall in town.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
This is breaking news from Nationwide Radio.
Good afternoon. It's 5:35 and it's time for Nationwide at 5. But we have an item of breaking news that is significant. Good afternoon. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Well, the breaking news: long-time JLP councillor for the Waterloo Division of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and the outgoing Deputy Mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, Winston Ennis, has announced in the last hour that he's stepping away from the governing Jamaica Labour Party and will be going independent. Let me repeat that. Long-time JLP councillor for the Waterloo Division in the constituency of North East St. Andrew, that's Delroy Chuck's constituency, Winston Ennis says he's stepping away from the Jamaica Labour Party and will be going independent in the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation.
Good afternoon, information media. I just want you all to know that
I have walked away from the Jamaica Labour Party. I've walked away from the KSAMC. I won't be going down there to be sworn in. I have to protect my dignity. I have to protect my values. And I have to protect my family. And the way I've been treated and disrespected, I am not having any more of it. And I've walked away. So officially, I am an independent until I return to Jamaica on the 3rd. I am leaving here tomorrow morning and I will return on the 3rd. I am tired of the disrespect and I am going no further with it. Sorry that I may have disappointed some of you in this group, because I know a lot of you, look up to me and see me as somebody you can, talk to, somebody you would like to have around. But the cup is full and my heart is overflowing and my family say I should walk and I'm walking. Sorry for the disappointment I may have caused some of you, but life goes on. Okay, each and every one.
Winston Ennis, Councillor Winston Ennis there, saying he is stepping away from the governing Jamaica Labour Party and going independent. And we are trying to get more on this breaking story for several reasons. One, you know that the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation ended in a 2020 tie, yes, following the local government elections last Monday. That 2020 tie has been broken by the party that won the most votes in the capital and its environs, the opposition People's National Party. As a result of the PNP winning the popular vote, it got the right to choose the mayor. And from all indications, what we've been told, the new mayor of the city will be the PNP's Swaby.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Alric Swaby?
Yes.
Yes, Alric Swaby. Andrew Swaby. Thank you very much, Dana. Andrew Swaby. And the GLP, therefore, having lost control of the mayor, will have the right to choose the deputy mayor because of the tie.
Yes.
Now, it's understood that the outgoing mayor, Delroy Williams, apparently decided not to accept the position of deputy mayor, and it was expected that Councillor Ennis would be asked and supported by his GLP caucus to be the new deputy,
Yes.
to go back as deputy mayor, and he was overlooked. Yes, that is what we are hearing. That is what we are learning at this moment. But this is a breaking story. What does it mean, for example, where control of the council is concerned? If he's going to be an independent, is it any longer a 2020 tie?
No, clearly it can no longer be considered a 2020 tie, which means the People's National Party would have overall majority control of the KSAMC.
Yes. Ricardo Brooks, yes, has been learning more about this story. Good afternoon, Ricardo.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, Siobhan. Good afternoon to the listeners.
Well, this broke literally while we were on air doing the 5 o'clock broadcast. And I gather you have been learning some more about it just prior to that. What more can you tell us?
Right. So it is, as you say, our sources indicate that the JLP caucus did intend to appoint outgoing Mayor Delroy Williams of the Seawright Gardens Division as the deputy mayor, in keeping with the rules governing the tie. However, the outgoing mayor declined that appointment, and obviously, Councillor Ennis would have expected that he has been the long-standing mayor of the city, and therefore his caucus would look to him. We're understanding they did not look to him, and therefore he feels slighted and disrespected, leading to this decision now to walk away and effectively handing majority control of the capital municipal corporation to the People's National Party.
This is stunning, because we all know, we have been saying it, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation at the local level is the biggest prize.
Yes, it is.
Yeah?
It is the prize.
The big one. And for the governing party now to lose total control by virtue of a defection This is a serious political blow to the Jamaica Labour Party.
And we would expect that the leadership of the Jamaica Labour Party in Area Council 1 would want to move quickly to stem the fallout from this. Certainly they must be making overtures now to reach out to Councillor Ennis because, as you well know, Cliff Siobhan, this hinged on the Kintyre division, which they were seeking a magisterial recount in. They are seeking a magisterial recount in an attempt to see whether they could break that tie. Mm-hmm. This decision obviously complicates that because it would mean nothing effectively. The People's National Party would gain outright control.
If they're not successful in having Councillor Ennis change his mind.
Indeed. And they must be making those overtures. He's a long-standing councillor. Very influential. A lot of people would say that he was a key deputy, a key lieutenant during his time to Mayor Williams. So certainly it must have come as a surprise to him. Certainly came as a surprise to us that this was the outcome, because we expected that the mayor, outgoing mayor, would have been the deputy mayor in the new dispensation. Of course, he declined our understanding, and now Councillor Ennis, not given the nod at all by his caucus.
But it would seem, Ricardo, based on what he said in the voice note, he's almost as if he's leaving an avenue open for them to reach out to him, suggesting that the thing essentially will be decided on the 3rd when he returns.
Yeah, and that is to be expected, Siobhan. He's a long-standing councillor, so the idea that he would simply just walk away from the JLP, clearly his feelings must be hurt. And as I said, Area Council 1, the leadership under Desmond McKenzie, the outgoing mayor himself, they certainly, we would expect as political operatives, would be making overtures to try to stem that and prevent him from walking away and sitting in the Capital Municipal Corporation as an independent.
And if you're just joining us, we're going to repeat what Councillor Ennis put out within the last hour, yes, announcing his decision to leave the Jamaica Labour Party and to go independent in the KSA-MC. Let's listen to Councillor Ennis again.
Good afternoon, information media. I just want you all to know that I have walked away from the Jamaica Labour Party. I've walked away from the KSA-MC. I won't be going down there to be sworn in. I have to protect my dignity. I have to protect my values. And I have to protect my family. And the way I've been treated and disrespected, I am not having any more of it. And I've walked away. So officially, I am an independent until I return to Jamaica on the 3rd. I am leaving here tomorrow morning and I will return on the 3rd. I am tired of the disrespect and I am going no further with it. Sorry that I may have disappointed some of you in this group, because I know a lot of you, look up to me and see me as somebody you can, talk to, somebody you would like to have around. But the cup is full and my heart is overflowing and my family say I should walk and I'm walking. Sorry for the disappointment I may have caused some of you, but life goes on. Okay, each and every one.
Councillor Winston Ennis of the Waterloo Division of the KSA-MC. We're up on a break, and after the break, we're going to take you to the Parliament, where other tensions in the governing Jamaica Labour Party surfaced in the House of Representatives this afternoon.
Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888 Sagicor to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
NHT contributors. Visit the NHT website today to see the application results for Friendship Oaks Housing Development in St. Elizabeth. Results will also be published in the newspapers on Wednesday, March 6, 2024. That was an announcement from the National Housing Trust.
Minutes going up to 6 o'clock here inside the cover story, and we have on the line Ricardo Brooks. Are you still with us?
I'm still here.
Good. Well, in the House of Representatives this afternoon, simmering tensions in the JLP surfaced, yes, over the sacking of the former Works Minister Everett Warmington, yes, during the deliberations of the Parliament Standing Finance Committee.
Warmington, who's the MP for Southwest St. Catherine, criticized Energy Minister Darrell Vaz for comments he made distancing himself from his former cabinet colleague. Those colleagues, to be reminded, listeners, is him vowing to starve a PNP councillor of resources in his constituency.
Minister, is there any method or as such within your ministry or scope where you can make allocation to councillors?
Not to my knowledge, member.
Is there such a privilege or opportunity in any other ministry? Do you know if any other ministry can do that?
Not that I know of.
But then, if that's the case, so you're making statement. You made a statement the other day where I'm concerned that you disassociate yourself from the statement I made in allocation. If it is not within a minister's to do it, power, then why are you making such statement in the Observer? I said to a general question. It was a general question. He's making that be associated with allocation from ministry councillor.
Member.
Yeah, you know that it's not possible. Then why are you making such statement?
Mr. Warmington, you'll recall, was fired by Prime Minister Holness following a meeting at Jamaica House last Thursday. In response, Minister Vaz again made it clear that he doesn't condone partisan victimization. Warmington could be heard in the Parliament criticizing Vaz in a sotto voce rant.
Chairman, let me make it clear for all who have ears to hear and eyes to see. I do not support partisan politics at any level, whether it's a council level, MP level, or government level. And as a minister of government, that will never happen under my watch in any way, shape, or form. That is beyond my pay grade.
Member Will, hello.
That's beyond my pay grade.
Minister, the mic is not on for the member, and so you don't have to respond to it. Let's concentrate on the spokesperson on the opposition side.
Member Paulwell.
Member Paulwell, you have the floor.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like you have learned anything.
Who was he talking there? You were watching it. Ricardo, our parliamentary reporter, Siobhan, was watching it. He's going to fill in the blanks.
Yes, so after what it seems that the Deputy Speaker of the House, he cut Mr. Warmington's mic when it was clear that the questions had nothing to do with the matter of the day, which was the Standing Finance Committee review of the estimates of expenditures for the upcoming fiscal year. Mm-hmm. So Warmington continued to essentially berate the minister for the comments Minister Vaz made, distancing himself from Mr. Warmington's previous comments, which has cost him his position as the Works Minister. So after the rant had continued for a while and the minister was responding to Warmington, that the Deputy Speaker chipped in and told Mr. Vaz, he doesn't have the mic, you do not have to respond to him.
Ignore him. And in the end, he simply just said, this is Minister Vaz saying to Mr. Warmington, you've clearly learned nothing. Yeah. Well, Mr. Ricardo?
Yes, Cliff.
Isn't this a situation now where those simmering tensions have really surfaced in the House, and this is not looking good for the governing Jamaica Labour Party?
And I've been thinking for some time now, since the Prime Minister fired Everett Warmington, as to whether or not he might not be more dangerous outside the cabinet politically than he was inside, because as a backbencher, unrestrained from the rules that govern the cabinet, he could become a real headache for the Prime Minister. And I think what we saw in the House of Representatives this afternoon is perhaps just the beginning of that, because it's no secret that he feels slighted, especially by those members of the cabinet who distance themselves. I can think, for example, of the General Secretary, the National Security Minister, and the Deputy Prime Minister, who issued a very forceful rebuke. And of course, you heard him there challenging the Energy Minister. So I expect that he could become a political headache for the Prime Minister, and he is known to express his displeasure towards his colleagues whenever he is displeased. So going forward now, it's to be seen how, and if at all, they can contain him. The Integrity Commission has recommended that he be removed from the committees that have oversight for the Commission. Will the chairman, Bartlett, will he want to move against him in that way? And what will the members of that committee do in terms of their vote? So I think it's going to be an interesting political time going ahead for the Holness administration in terms of how they contain the headache that is Everett Warmington.
I think you're spot on, Ricardo, because we were hearing that, listen, just as you said, Warmington could be a thorn in the side of the Prime Minister and the government after he was fired last Thursday. In fact, we are just getting recordings of excerpt of an interview he did with TVJ's Kelisha Williams earlier today. Yes? And here's a bit of that interview with Everett Warmington.
I was fired. The PM said to me I should divulge more and say ask the question. That because of civil society, he can't keep me there. But at the same time, he's asking me to go in the field to work for the party to face next election. The question I ask, if civil society can't accept me as part of his cabinet, how then civil society will accept me working in the field to elect him again as Prime Minister?
But don't you think his hands were tied, though, given that the reaction from the opposition leader with Dennis Meadows?
I saw no chain or rope on his hands. Don't ask me a question. Meadows, as I said, is a different case from mine entirely. He was promoting criminality. I was not, never yet, okay? But in terms of civil society, and there are some others in Labour Party who force him, can you point to a single minister who has the ability or the right or any avenue through which a minister can locate funds for minister?
So why did you say why did you make that statement?
You can't answer my question, ask me another question.
But you're the one who made the statement, Mr. Warmington.
And can you tell me one minister that does or who can? Answer the question and I come to you.
So why did you make the statement then?
Because it's my mouth. I don't have the permission to speak. I don't pay lies to my mother, darling. I don't. But I would say that same minister was a slip of the tongue anyhow.
Everett Warmington being Everett Warmington.
Unhinged.
And again confirming that, listen, he's going to be a thorn in the side of Andrew Holness and the government going forward. And TVJ's Kelisha Williams, yes?
Credit to her for getting that interview.
Yes.
Mr. Warmington can be very difficult, but clearly he's in a talking mood now.
Yes. And he attacked the Prime Minister.
Yes, he said that there was no change on the Prime Minister's hands.
Yes.
And let us be clear. Let us be clear. He's a key political organizer for the Labour Party in St. Catherine. And you heard him there asking the question, if I am not suitable to sit in the cabinet, if civil society doesn't think me suitable to sit in the cabinet, why would they think me suitable to continue to work politically on behalf of the Prime Minister? Which then brings us to Michael Jackson's call that he should step away completely from the Parliament. So, as I said, going forward, in the run-up to the general election, it's going to be interesting to see how he operates as a backbencher that's not restrained by the rules of the cabinet and collective responsibility.
And for our listeners, viewers, here is Warmington again with TVJ's Kelisha Williams today, yes, reacting to his dismissal. And for those who had questioned our use of the term that he was fired, you heard it from him now that he was fired.
I was fired. The PM said to me I should divulge more and say ask the question. That because of civil society, he can't keep me there. But at the same time, he's asking me to go in the field to work for the party to face next election. The question I ask, if civil society can't accept me as part of his cabinet, how then civil society will accept me working in the field to elect him again as Prime Minister?
But don't you think his hands were tied though, given that the reaction from the opposition leader with Dennis Meadows?
I saw no chain or rope on his hands. Don't ask me a question. Meadows, as I said, is a different case from mine entirely. He was promoting criminality. I was not, never yet, okay? But in terms of civil society, and there are some others in Labour Party who force him, can you point to a single minister who has the ability or the right or any avenue through which a minister can locate funds for the minister?
Why did you say why did you make that statement?
You can't answer my question, ask me another question.
But you're the one who made the statement, Mr. Warmington.
And can you tell me one minister that does or who can? Answer the question and I come to you.
Why did you make the statement then?
Because it's my mouth. I don't have the permission to speak. I don't pay lies to my mother, darling. I don't. But I would say that same minister was a slip of the tongue anyhow.
You're rude. Simple. You're simply rude and should have been out of the government long ago.
And if what Mr. Warmington is saying...
Ignore the fact that this is a pattern.
Yes.
It makes it appear that this is just a first blush and the Prime Minister was rash in his movement to fire him. No, this is a pattern. So he needs to accept that there's a history behind what his conduct and why the Prime Minister now, in the political environment that we are, feels constrained to act.
Yes.
And he now seems to be seemingly justifying a comment that he had previously suggested he was apologizing for and withdrawing.
Yes, yes.
Well, that's it for the moment. This is going to get even more interesting with the developments at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. Long-term JLP Councillor Winston Ennis of the Waterloo Division of Delroy Chucks, Northeast St. Andrew constituency, says he's left the JLP and he will be sitting as an independent member in the KSAC, which means that he has handed total control of the KSAC to the opposition People's National Party. That's the cover story. Thank you very much, Ricardo.
Not a problem.
Good.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6 o'clock.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs. From luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Norige Banton. With a bit of news just in, JLP councillor and former deputy mayor of Kingston, Winston Ennis, has announced that he's stepping away from the JLP and will be going independent.
Good afternoon, information media. I just want you all to know that I have walked away from the Jamaica Labour Party. I've walked away from the KSAMC. I won't be going down there to be sworn in. I have to protect my dignity. I have to protect my values. And I have to protect my family. And the way I've been treated and disrespected, I am not having any more of it. And I've walked away. So officially, I am an independent until I return to Jamaica on the 3rd.
Councillor-elect for the Waterloo Division, Winston Ennis. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the government intends to put forward more programs than budgeted to ensure the country does not underutilize its capital expenditure. Dr. Clark was answering questions at Tuesday's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee, which is reviewing the estimates of expenditure for the upcoming 2024-2025 fiscal year. The Finance Minister says programming projects in such a way will ensure that if one falls through, others can be pursued. The government was forced to reallocate nearly $9 billion in capital expenditure during the current financial year due to its inability to get certain projects off the ground. Dr. Nigel Clark says they've had issues in procurement on the part of the private sector.
For this fiscal year 23-24, the projects that fell behind primarily related to one, procurement failures, not on the side of the government, but on the side of private sector entities selected through a procurement process being in a position where they're unable to fulfill their obligation. Unable to fulfill in a couple of cases because they have not been able to post the bonds that are required, which means we have to do the procurement all over. And in other cases, failure in terms of response to the procurement, i.e. the responses don't meet the criteria and the procurement therefore fails and has to be redone.
To fix that problem for the upcoming financial year, Dr. Clark says the government will be taking a different approach to allocating projects.
What we're going to be attempting to do differently this time, member, in addition to some changes that we'll make in some of the procurement processes, but I think the fundamental difference to try to be in a position where we have more projects available than budgeted capacity, so that if something is falling behind, we can rotate to something else. We'll obviously be clear with those projects that it doesn't mean that this is going through this year, but we have some backups. Because what happens is, let's say we're working on an irrigation project and you spend 3 months on a procurement and now somebody has won and is supposed to post a bond, or you spend 6 months on a procurement and then they fail to post a bond and it's a $2 billion capital expenditure, the government is left on the hook. No, there's nothing that the government can do.
Dr. Clark says more details will be provided during his budget debate presentation later this month. Simmering tensions in the governing JLP over the sacking of former Works Minister Everald Warmington surfaced in the House of Representatives this afternoon during the deliberations of the Parliament's Standing Finance Committee. Warmington, who's the MP for Southwest St. Catherine, criticised Energy Minister Darrell Vowles for comments he made distancing himself from his former cabinet colleague. Mr. Warmington questioned Mr. Vowles' position about distancing himself from his controversial vow to starve a PNP councillor of resources in his constituency.
Minister, is there any method or as such within your ministry or scope where you can make allocation to councillors?
Not to my knowledge, member.
Is there such a privilege or opportunity in any other ministry? Do you know if any other ministry can do that?
Not that I know of.
But then, if that's the case, so you're making statement. You made a statement the other day where I'm concerned that you disassociate yourself from the statement I made in allocation. If it is not within a minister's to do it, power, then why are you making such statement in the Observer? I said to a general question. He said, what's the general question? He's making that be associated with allocation from ministry councillor.
Member.
Yeah, you know that is not possible. Then why are you making such statement?
Mr. Warmington was fired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness following a meeting at Jamaica House last Thursday. In response, Minister Vaz again made it clear he does not condone partisan victimization. Mr. Warmington could be heard chiding the minister in a sort of a shea rant.
Chairman, let me make it clear for all who have ears to hear and eyes to see. I do not support partisan politics at any level, whether it's a council level, MP level, or government level. And as a minister of government, that will never happen under my watch in any way, shape, or form. That is beyond my pay grade.
Member will. Hello.
That's beyond my pay grade.
Minister, the mic is not on for the member, and so you don't have to respond to it. Let's concentrate on the spokesperson on the opposition side.
Member Paulwell.
Member Paulwell, you have the floor.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like you have learned anything.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, Michael Jackson, says Everald Warmington should resign as Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine. She made the call following the Integrity Commission recommending to Parliament that the former minister be removed from 2 committees providing oversight and review of its work.
Accountability is not those also forcing you to act and holding you to account. Accountability and the true testament of leadership also demands that you look within. You do some introspection of the words and the actions that you have taken. And in that regard, we hope that Mr. Warmington would in fact do some self-accountability and tender his resignation as a member of Parliament. At this point, we don't believe that he should continue serving on the parliamentary committees, but certainly we believe that he ought to tender his resignation as a member of Parliament. The integrity of the House of our Parliament demands it.
Warmington has faced criticism from the public after comments he made at a political meeting last week surfaced. Speaking to JLP supporters, Warmington vowed to starve all PNP councillors of resources to spend on projects in his constituency. Following the controversial remarks, Warmington was fired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness as Minister of Works. Ms. Jackson noted that the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, in its role as Office of the Political Ombudsman, should also state whether it's investigating his conduct.
We're calling on the Electoral Commission of Jamaica to indicate to the Jamaican people where are you with your own investigation. And while we take note that these public bodies ought not to be doing their work in the media spotlight, it would certainly be important for the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, the commissioners, to indicate to us that they themselves have taken note of Mr. Warmington's comment, and they need to indicate to us what the possible courses of action may very well be, because we have to be assured that this move that the legislators had made to give the commissioners this ombudsman role is certainly working.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Banton Sports is next.
Stand out among competitors. Show your commitment to quality. Submit your entry in the Bureau of Standards Jamaica National Quality Awards Program. Your entry provides the opportunity for a free comprehensive assessment of your organization's management system and facilitates improvement in effectiveness and efficiency. This prestigious award associates your organization with performance excellence. Step into a world of excellence. Gain access to international markets. Enter today.
Call 618-1534. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica, making standards work for you.
Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Yeah. Get a BMI check, your blood pressure check, your blood sugar and cholesterol check. We're living well when we stay on top of our health. Know your numbers and take control.
Message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Time to pay your tax? Relax! You've got this with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes and get a 1-month payment holiday. New cardholders get first-year annual fee waived. Plus, you get up to 55 days interest-free and earn unlimited reward points every time you spend. So when you're ready to pay your tax, relax! You've got this. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
Good evening to a sports report. I am Alric Swiby. We bowl things off with some cricket as a veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira says work is on in earnest to get the venues across the Caribbean ready for the ICC T20 World Cup. The tournament is being hosted by the USA and the West Indies from June 1 to 29. The Caribbean islands of Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Guyana, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago will host matches. Pereira says the ICC has been monitoring the construction.
Kensington changing their light. They're incorporating some new lights, cost-saving lights. I think St. Lucia is also changing their floodlights. They have taking off the entire roof of the Johnson Charles stand, which is the major stand that holds close to 6,000 people. That has been totally redone. The Dar es Salaam is virtually a construction site. It's closed to the public. That is the case in Guyana. That's the case in St. Vincent. That's the case in Antigua.
Joseph West Pereira. Taki High and Black River were among the winners of the Issa Rural School Board T20 cricket competition today. Host Taki beat Outages by 8 wickets. Batting first, Outages were bowled out for 73. Naheem Brown made 9 and Damar Johnson 8. Jordan Pinnock and Damaria Newton took 3 wickets each for Taki. In reply, Taki made 74 for 2. Javier Green made 35 and Marlon Williams 21. Rashawn Lynch took 2 wickets for Outages. Meanwhile, home team Black River, led by a century from E.J. Spence, beat Cornwall College by 8 wickets. Cornwall College were bowled out for 136, with Shaye Samuel making 29 and Deshaun Evan 25. Jamar Morgan bagged 3 wickets for Black River. Black River, in reply, made 140 for 2. Spence clobbered an unbeaten 102. Now on to football, as Jamaica's national senior men's football team will take on defending champions USA in semi-final 1 of the CONCACAF Nations League at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on March 21. In semi-final 2, Mexico and Panama will lock horns. Coach of the Reggae Boys, Amir Halgrimson, says the tournament gives him more time with his players.
It means that you have time with the players. Normally, especially here in the CONCACAF region, when you have players coming from all over the world, you lose normally 1 day of training compared to when you are playing with a European team, with the European players. Everybody is ready to train on Monday. So a normal FIFA window gives you maybe 2 trainings in a game and 2 trainings in a game. So you basically cannot spend a lot of time with the players. Tournaments like these and Copa America in the summer gives the coach a month with the players, so you can grow the team faster, you can gel them together, and the players will interact better on the pitch, staying together, knowing each other, not only as a football players but as persons. So that is really helpful to build a team for the future.
Amir Halgrimson. USA won the first 2 editions of the tournament, and their coach Greg Berhalter says they want to make it 3 straight.
I think back to the last 2 tournaments and some amazing games, amazing spectacles. The first game in Denver, the final against Mexico, was a great final. And then last time in Las Vegas against Canada was another great final. And for us, it's really respecting our opponents, respecting the level of competition. Nations League is a fantastic tournament, and there's 4 high-level teams here. So for us, it's staying humble, focus 1 game at a time, but really, desperately wanting to get our 3rd title.
Greg Berhalter. These decisive matches are part of an exciting week of CONCACAF men's national teams football in the Dallas metropolitan area, which also includes the 2023-24 CONCACAF Nations League playing at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas on March 23. Coach of Trinidad and Tobago's national senior men's football team, Angus Eve, laments the absence of the Caribbean Cup competition. The Caribbean Cup was the championship tournament for national teams that are members of the Caribbean Football Union, CFU. The tournament served as a qualifier among CFU members for the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica dominated the tournament with 8 and 6 titles respectively. The 2017 edition of the tournament was the 19th and final. It was discontinued in favor of participation in the CONCACAF Nations League. However, speaking after the recent 2-match friendly between the Soca Warriors and the Reggae Boys, Eve says the Caribbean need a tournament where local players can get valuable international experience and exposure.
We don't have the Caribbean Cup anymore, where, all of us, Dwight York and Russell Latapi and everybody broke out. I remember Gali had 2 teams. He had 1 qualifying for the World Cup and 1 playing in the Caribbean Cup. And you see what it does for Africa, the exposure. The European Cup is coming, all of us is going to win, but we do not have a Caribbean Cup to expose our young players. Well, we did something like that a time ago, Sports Classic. We tried to start an initiative.
Angus Eve. Now, Bayern Munich beat last year 3-0 in the return leg of the Champions League last 16, overturning a 1-goal first leg deficit at the Allianz Arena today. The hosts provided the perfect response to their subpar defeat at the Stadio de Olimpiaco during the first half in Bavaria, with smart headers from Harry Kane and Thomas Muller putting Bayern in control of the tie. Kane grabbed another for the host after the break to secure his side's spot in the final 8 and relieve some pressure after a difficult few weeks for the reigning Bundesliga champions.
Muller backpedals. That was Guerrero. There is Kane! Bayern lead on the night. Bayern level in the tie. And there's De Ligt. Oh, that's magnificent. Matthijs De Ligt has just scored a Champions League stunner. Zane is going to have a go and Providella saved, but it has fallen to the feet of Harry Kane.
Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe led PSG back to the Champions League quarterfinals, scoring both goals in a 2-1 win over Real Sociedad that kept alive the French club's hopes of winning the European title in its last season with the French forward. PSG advanced 4-1 on aggregate, with Mbappe also scoring one of the goals in the 2-0 win in the first leg in Paris 3 weeks ago. Female athletes reached new heights, distance and speeds at the recent World Athletics Indoor Championships Glasgow 24, setting records and reaching historic milestones in the process. For the first time ever at a Global Athletics Championships, women outnumbered men on the field of play. In Glasgow, women accounted for 50.8% of all participants. That's 298 of the 586 in total. Women also led the way in terms of performances. 2 world indoor records were broken during the championships, both by women. Femke Ball in the 400 meters and Divine Charlton in the 60 meters hurdles. Women also accounted for 3 of the 5 championships records, 7 of the 10 era records, and 50 of the 93 personal best. They also had a higher average result scores, 1,121 for women and 1,094 for men. Even in the workforce at the championships, 11 of the 15 functional era leads were women, which accounts for 75% of the local organizing committee's leadership. On the surface, these margins may appear small, but they mark yet another significant step forward in a sport that continues to strive for full equality and equity. These results and historic milestones comes as World Athletics kicks off another edition of Women's Week, a week dedicated to celebrating all things women in athletics, which will run from March 5 to 10 and coincide with International Women's Day on March 8. And now finally to swimming, as Campion College and Immaculate Conception retain their respective boys and girls titles at the recent ASAJ High and Tertiary Swimming Championships at the Stadium Pool. Campion amassed 508.5 points to lift the boys' trophy. They finished ahead of Woolmer's 438.5, with Jamaica College rounding out the top 3 with 315 points. Meanwhile, Immaculate topped the girls' table with 506 points. Second went to Campion College, 331, and St. Andrew High, third with 221 points. Coach of Immaculate, Chanel Hill, says her team would have garnered more points if they were at full strength.
This meet, we lost a lot of our swimmers. They were playing other sports. It's like Savannah Taylor, she went out playing tennis for Jamaica. Leah Allen, she had a small operation on her toe. Cara Burrell, she had volleyball, and I have lost some of my athletes that does track and swimming because they are doing character. Malika Russell, she swam the relays and went over to the stadium. She didn't do it so well in the 1500, so I had to pull her from the finals, so she missed all her finals. She was across the stadium. We have Michaela Brown, she had a back injury, she was out. Sarah made final, she was out. So this was a very challenging meet for me. I had to be swimming off in the diving pool. Most of my girls didn't turn up for the meet. So this meant a lot because I asked the girls that we have to do teamwork. This was really a group effort for us to pull off this year. I'm so proud of my girls.
Chanel Hill, coach of Campion Gillian Millwood, says both her teams performed well.
The gentlemen did really well. So did the women. Very happy about Alia Heaven, who in all 3 of her individual events broke those records: the 53, 100 free, 50 fly, and a number of our guys went under the relay records. So I'm very happy. Particularly our 12 and under boys with Arisha Shalani, David Allen, and Noah Parker, who are going to Carissa later this month. Derek Harrison, one of our senior swimmers, did a really fine job winning all 3 of his finals as well. Vicky Vandeleer on the girls' side, Alyssa Jefferson on the girls' side did a really good job. Had some missing boys and injured boys, had to be doing a lot of juggling, but very, very pleased This is the second win of the 3 meets for the boys now.
Gillian Millwood, I'm Alex Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612 to 5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
I've been hearing about this constitutional reform thing. You know anything about it?
Yes, constitutional reform is a chance for us to Jamaicanize the constitution.
But how?
Enough things changed since 1962 and we have matured as a nation. So modernizing the constitution will reflect our current societal values.
Oh, a constitution for Jamaicans, approved by Jamaicans.
Are you ready for the journey? Join us on the road to Republic. Think independence, think Republic. A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Bun to me cheese, give me yummy. Bun to me cheese, give me yummy. Don't stop at just a one slice, please. No other bun, perfect for me. Yummy. For real Jamaican flavor and quality for sure this Easter. Make yummy the bun to your cheese. Yummy. Give me yummy, yummy. Give me yummy. For the Easter, yummy bun zeta. Yummy for me family, yummy for me sir. Bun to me cheese, give me yummy. Bun to me cheese, best bun. Give me yummy.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone, taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams, every day helping you succeed. That's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school? And now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less,
or 2 or 3,
at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. It's a Tuesday evening, a special one to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you for tuning in. You know, as always, we ask you to weigh in live in the comments section on the day's Public Opinion. So let's get to it. Armed gang members stormed 2 prisons in Haiti over the weekend, freeing thousands of inmates and sparking widespread violence and chaos. Now, Haiti has been in the news since, even before 2021, before the assassination of Jovenel Moise. Haiti has been in the news as it relates to violence and chaos in that country. Now, the country declared a 72-hour state of emergency on Sunday in response to the recent, prison outbreak, you would call it. Armed gang freeing 2 persons from 2 prisons. Can you imagine that? Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang, he says the recent jailbreak of thousands of criminals has serious implications for Jamaica's own territorial integrity.
Yeah, we have to take an interest in this. Yes, remember Haiti is the source of a lot of our drugs for guns trade, and there are linkages between Haitian gang and Jamaican gang. But so we take note of it, and we think to do a number of things. One is to get as much intelligence on the ground out of Haiti as possible. Of course, the situation in Haiti is in Haitian capital. Haiti is not that really. The Haitian Port-au-Prince is currently very unstable, but we have to, explore whatever avenues we have to get the best intelligence we can to see what their movements are. Because a lot of these prisoners who are high-value prisoners are looking to reinforce their position in their gang control of Haiti, which is another issue that has been dealt with by the international community.
In other words, we have to move and move quick. Dr. Chang says this has triggered increased monitoring at Jamaica's borders.
The Minister of Defense have asked that the KDFN has much resources to monitor our borders because we cannot afford to be overwhelmed by not only the population of Haiti, which is far more than ours exists there. Well, so not so much the whole population, but Port-au-Prince in particular, which is a pretty large population, maybe more than total population of Jamaica. And of course, criminals moving here as well to continue their activity with local linkages. So we are doing increased monitoring of our border area, or territorial waters at that side of Jamaica.
Dr. Horace Chang, their Minister of National Security, we're putting it to you in public opinion today. Are you concerned that Haitian prison escapees will make their way to Jamaica's shores? I'll start with the comments on our Facebook platform. Anthony Shakes says yes, and if they are sent, back, civil society is gonna quarrel. Okay. Philip Jackson says, well, all who come to Jamaica without taking the proper channel in the first place raise a red flag. It's interesting to see those groups who are seeking to represent persons who follow that principle, thinking that those people have a right to be wrong. And Philip Jackson says, let's wait and see. Well, I don't want to wait and see. I want for certain security procedures to be put in place before, you can act before things happen. Let's see if I can get in some more. Fabian Johnson says, let the groups, the institution that fighting for them, who always want them to stay, I hope they will volunteer to keep them. Wow, Fabian Smith. Ruth Lynn Matthews says, no, Prince Wellington says, not at all. Bro God is gonna send troops. I'm just sarcastically waiting on his address to the nation. Rosalind Buck says, of course, she's concerned. They are heading here. I hope the Prime Minister asks for help to secure our borders. And that's what I'm talking about. We have to act fast before it happens. And then when it happens, you hear say, Beverly Barrett says, yes, we are in trouble. Merlene Fraser says that's a must, and Natalie Winter is saying that anything is possible. Coming from Grace Williams Bailey, yes, very much, because you don't know who is who. And I want to say sometimes them fit in, they fit in and look like us Jamaicans. Durvan Ennis says these Haitian, they must return to their homeland forthwith. We have our own set of problems on our lands. Let me get to the comments on our X platform. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. We're asking you, are you concerned that Haitian prison escapees will make their way to Jamaica's shores? Charm BK says, oh yes, I'm concerned, and without a doubt they will find themselves here. Blazing Fire says, I'm concerned because when they land, all we should do is just turn them over to those groups. Norma Lawrence says, that is my greatest concern, coming from Norma Lawrence White. Let me see if I can get in some more. Paper Soldier JA says, not at all. They will be safe in keeping off Okay, all right. So I see some calling of names in the comments section. Some calling of names here. SSW says, it's a possibility, but I'm not overly concerned. I'm sure that our coast guards are on high alert knowing this. And that's what we want. We need them to be on high alert. K-Nat says, very concerned. She's very concerned. And Chen Chen is saying that nobody wants them here. Prosperity Train says, I'm absolutely furious. It's infuriating to think about how close I live to the seashore where these intruders usually show up. And to make matters worse, there are people who have the audacity to play political games and advocate for granting them refugee status. It's outrageous. Now, these are the views coming from Prosperity Train. It's not the views of Nationwide. Dizzle says, just in case they make it, we should leave them directions. Wow. To Andrew and Mark House. Wow, Dizzle. If you're just joining us, we're asking you, are you concerned? 2 prisons, right, were stormed in Haiti over the weekend and thousands of inmates were freed. We've already had situations where Haitians arrived in our island illegally and we had to send them back. There were about 37 Haitians who were seeking asylum, and after that long process, they were denied. If you're just joining us, are you concerned that Haitian prison escapees will make their way to Jamaica's shores? On our Instagram platform, Carlene Smith says, as a close neighbor, I am concerned about the prison escapees coming to Jamaica. We are already tormented by local criminals, so any threat of additional problem is of grave concern. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Miller says, if you know this, let's take necessary precautions and send out our coast guards than have them itch up on land. Okay. And O'Shane says, Haitians always running over here. Let me get to the comments on our YouTube platform real quick. I see a lot of comments coming in, giving it time to, populate. Let me see. In the meantime, Rich Step on Instagram says, sure, every Jamaican should and need to be concerned with over 2,000 unsecured ports in Jamaica. It's a very scary place. So many little shores in bushes all over. Jamaica need to be operated. Jamaica, that's operated. I hope we can put drones on a shift system to cover above in all parishes across the island. Merlene P says, we have to be on alert 24 hours a day. Indeed. Tony Bailey says some might already be here. Yeah, that's what you're saying, Tony Bailey. That some Haitians might already be here as well. Arlene Rose says, I am concerned. It came to my thought yesterday that some of them will end up capturing in my house in Portland, which I know it cannot happen, but just imagining it. And you have to imagine all sort of scenarios in Arlene Row. In this instance, you have to imagine all sort of scenarios because these inmates, they were locked up. They've been locked up. Now they're freed. What will happen? What will happen? So, of course, we have to be concerned, but we have to put the trust in our coast guards. As Richard Passard says, I'm not concerned. The Coast Guard will get them. And we hope and pray that is the case. Tanya Jones says, when they reach, send them back. All right. Loxley says, Minister of Defense is clueless. Where's the safety? John Black. All right. Let me see if I can get. Tam says, Coast Guards, how much gunship, boat, or helicopter Jamaica have to protect them shores? Some interesting comments coming in on this one, but we do hope and pray that we're able to secure our borders before anything of any sort happen. Remember, you have the option of agreeing and or disagreeing as you're entitled to your own opinion. That's Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. Do stay tuned for the Business Report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Roby Ann Williams. Fitch Ratings Agency today upgraded Jamaica's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating, that's the IDR, to BB- with the outlook remaining positive. The Ministry of Finance says the rating upgrade results from the government's continued commitment to a stable economic policy framework underpinned by the Bank of Jamaica's inflation-targeting monetary policy, as well as sound fiscal management anchored on debt reduction targets. The ratings agency, through its press release, highlighted the government's commitment to delivering large primary surpluses, which has supported a significant reduction in Jamaica's debt burden. The Ministry of Finance says the positive outlook reflects the expectation of continued improvement in debt metrics and further deepening of the policy framework over the medium term. Fitch's rating action is the third upgrade for Jamaica in the financial year 2023-2024, following positive actions by Standard & Poor's Global Ratings, this on September 13, 2023, and after Moody's ratings on October 18, 2023. Meta says it has resolved a technical issue which caused Facebook Messenger and Instagram to go down. Hundreds of thousands of users worldwide were unable to access them for around 2 hours on Tuesday. People trying to log on to the websites and apps were finding error messages and were unable to refresh their feeds. Meta has also apologized to those who had been affected, saying it resolved the problem as quickly as it could. And finally, the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 38 cents to buy $1 US, 198 Jamaican dollars and 36 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 37 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
JampJA.org. Mind the business JA with Jamp Online. Are your business? They keep your government in line.
Funded by the European Union and the UK International Development.
Yes, me get the last cheese.
Taste the beat.
Brothers and sisters, at the end of Easter service, we have
cheese. Taste the beat.
But one day we get no bun and cheese.
Taste the beat.
Serve, sell me some bun and cheese.
Taste the beat.
Why, this looking nice with some tasty cheese.
Taste the beat.
Could I have some cheese, please?
Taste the beat.
Make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy.
Tasty beat with tasty cheese. Suzuki, I give you deals on deals. So here's the deal. Purchase a 2024 Suzuki Vitara, Grand Vitara, XL7 or the all-new Bronx from as low as $4.79 million. Just $53,500 monthly. Enjoy 5 years warranty, free vehicle tracking and servicing, plus more. Offer valid at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Campbell, Kingston, and Iron Shore Bay. Stop by your test drive events on February 10 and 24. Follow Suzuki Jamaica for more details. Submissions apply.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, will always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone, taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams, every day helping you succeed. That's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
When the smoke clears and the battle has been won, true warlord still a stand.
When the smoke clears and the battle has been won, he's still having fun. Father, husband, writer, producer, singer, DJ, national OD, but him never overdose on the hype.
You're messing with my heart.
Talk show host, yeah, he made the cut. So we need to know the man on a mission. There was a time it seemed impossible. But we will hear some of the story, maybe some secrets.
Lord, I pray.
Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: Marshall in town.
Marshall in town. This is the Marshall town.
You know how we do. Woo.
Marshall in town. Tell them beware Marshall in town.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Dive into a holistic healing symphony with Dr. Denise Daly as she explores the incredible healing potential of the Nature's Remedies. Starting January 9, 2024, Nationwide at 5 hosts the Nature's Remedies from 7 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday. The segment bestows a plethora of organic wellness wisdom onto all listeners. If you're uncomfortable with popping all those pills, then embark on this natural journey and discover how the Nature's Remedies can help. Tune in for the facts that will transform your perspective on herbal solutions and natural therapies. That's Nature's Remedies, every Tuesday during Nationwide at 5 from 7 to 8 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Catch the E-Zone with me, the Stinger Honeybee, alongside
Kareem Boy Ting.
as we turn up the heat
in the street. New show.
New vibes.
Same us.
Same us.
Monday to Friday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
We'll bring you entertainment news.
We'll take away your Monday blues.
You don't want to miss a week with us.
We'll talk health.
Well,
jump into the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss the brain buster.
Or the crazy giveaways.
I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bug, I think.
Ow.
But is this real? Hey, Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene.
Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
Become Team Jamaica certified to shape the future of Jamaica's tourism sector. TPDCO's Team Jamaica, shaping ambassadors for life.
The time by TPDCO's Team Jamaica training program is
6:43. Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here nationwide. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And we can tell you from the breaking story, cover story about the political developments in the country this evening. Frantic efforts are underway at this hour to get the councillor for the Waterloo Division of the KSAMC, Councillor Winston Ennis, to change his mind about walking away from the Jamaica Labour Party to sit in the KSAMC as an independent councillor, which would effectively hand total control of the most powerful local government authority in the country to the opposition People's National Party. You heard in that voice note we played for you earlier, Winston Ennis saying that he is walking away to protect his dignity. And more is becoming clear, Siobhan, since we were on in the cover story. What is emerging is the following. The Labour Party, having lost the mayoral seat, is left with a deputy mayor's seat.
Yes.
And Mr. Ennis, who was deputy mayor of the KSAMC, under Mayor Williams, expected to be given...
To give him the nod.
Yes, as deputy mayor. He didn't expect the outgoing mayor, Delroy Williams, to accept the position of deputy mayor. Yes, because he was a mayor. It's a step down for him. And he felt that he was bypassed. I'm also learning that he has had his issues with Mayor Williams for some time over the running of the council. And also he felt that he has not been given his due regard as the chairman of the JLP Area Council 1. I didn't even realize he was a chairman.
Yes, I've been led to understand by quite a few people who the news has come to as a bit of a shock that he is not just some random councillor who they picked up off the street to run in a seat. He is quite known, quite well established in the JLP's high ranking in the area council and the KSAMC.
Yes, and the Area Council 1 covers a corporate area.
Yes.
Yes. And he felt disrespected, and I know, yes, at least 2 persons have told me within the last hour that they are trying to convince him not to go ahead, with his decision to leave the Labour Party and leave the party in a way that is going to be, as a person said to me, Cliff, this is a mess.
I can imagine. I know that you've done your apologies and everything has settled, that the JLP technically has won the majority of the corporations, but are they behaving as a party that has won a victory?
No, because it was a Pyrrhic victory, and this is not how you behave if you win, This is the greatest statement about that controversy. But as it is tonight, yes, people in the Labour Party, a lot of people are just learning of it. People are in shock.
Yes, that's what I've been learned to understand. There's some people are shocked. When the name was mentioned, I was given a few calls. When the name was mentioned about whom it is suggesting that they're sticking as an independent, people were floored.
I gather the Standing Committee of the Labour Party is meeting at this hour. The Standing Committee is meeting, and that is the topic of discussion at Belmont Road. What is happening to the party? A well-known prominent activist told me that the party is at a moment of peril. A moment of peril, yes, because if they're not careful, they could implode. Yeah?
And this is in the run-up to a general election, and as things stand, the JLP is almost acting as this. They've lost that election already if they continue with this recrimination and this inability to settle and focus on the task at hand.
And the big concern this evening is Everald Warmington. What will Everald Warmington do? I see on Twitter, TVJ is promoting that they're going to be having an extensive interview with Mr. Warmington, yes, on their primetime news hour this evening. And based on what I'm seeing, he had much more to say. Yes,
I can imagine. Mr. Warmington was a powder keg when he was restrained by his cabinet position. As ironically, that is what the Prime Minister said was the intention, to give him a sense of responsibility, to sober him up due to his very firebrand way of doing politics. But now that he's been moved out of that position with what clearly is a chip on his shoulder, I cannot believe that bodes well for the governing JLP.
Yes. He's quoted in as saying, after 55 years, I'm finished with the Labour Party. I'll be working for a few select candidates. The question I ask is, if civil society cannot accept me as part of his cabinet, how then civil society will accept me working in the field to elect him again as Prime Minister? Warmington says he has also resigned as chairman of the JLP's Area Council 2. Yeah? So,
clearly
that's the situation
he's
this evening. Very wounded. And why should he be? Let us be frank. Mr. Warmington's conduct.
He made this is a noose of his own making.
Of course, and it has been in his own making for a long time. It's not a first offense, it's not a second offense. He's a repeat offender. Yeah? A repeat offender when it comes to his coarse, behavior in public life as a member of the government and the legislature.
Yeah, he has been a headache for multiple prime ministers, multiple leaders of the party. And he he's a man of which restraint is not a word in his vocabulary. I recall when he called, I believe it was Lisa Hanna, Jezebel.
Oh yes, and you heard him in the interview with Kalisha Williams this afternoon. Yes, how he was conducting himself. As the Minister of Energy said to him in the Parliament this afternoon, obviously you haven't learnt anything. Yes. Well, it's 9 minutes going up to 7 o'clock. Also in the Parliament is meeting, its Standing Finance Committee is meeting to look at the proposed expenditure for the budget beginning April 1. And the Finance Minister plays a key role in the deliberations of the Finance Committee of the Parliament. And today, he said, the Holness administration intends to put forward more programs than budgeted to ensure the country does not underutilize its planned capital expenditures. The opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson, noted with concern recent difficulties in expending the capital budget.
Minister, we had a difficulty spending the capital budget in the 23-24 financial year. We are projected to spend an additional amount, leading to 80 billion from central government and I think another 70 odd from the public bodies. What are you doing differently to manage the issues that have arisen, whether they be procurement, whether they be staffing, other capacity issues that have prevented us from spending the capital budget?
Thank you for that question. So, you know, it was in some ways providence that extra space came up because some of the projects were behind, because as I've said elsewhere, we had to do that in order to meet compensation expenditure. The challenges that we've had as a government, with having the capital budget be executed as programmed, and this is a challenge just in recent times. You'll recall in fiscal year 2019-20, we executed on $70 billion worth of capital expenditure projects, which was a 95% execution rate, or higher, 98% execution rate as compared to what was budgeted. For this fiscal year 23-24, the projects that fell behind, as I've discussed with you before in this house, primarily related to one, procurement failures, not on the side of the government, but on the side of private sector entities selected through a procurement process being in a position where they're unable to fulfill their obligation. Unable to fulfill in a couple of cases because they have not been able to post the bonds that are required, which means we have to do the procurement all over. And in other cases, failure in terms of response to the procurement, i.e. the responses don't meet the criteria and the procurement therefore fails and has to be redone.
That's Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. The government was forced to reallocate nearly $9 billion in capital expenditure during the current financial year due to its inability to get certain projects off the ground. Dr. Clark says to fix that problem for the upcoming financial year, the government will be taking a different approach to allocating projects.
What we're going to be attempting to do differently this time, member, in addition to some changes that we'll make in some of the procurement processes, but I think the fundamental difference is going to be to try to be in a position where we have more projects available than budgeted capacity, so that if something is falling behind, we can rotate to something else. We'll obviously be clear with those projects that it doesn't mean that this is going through this year, but we have some backups. Because what happens is when let's say we're working on an irrigation project and you spend 3 months on a procurement, and now somebody has won and is supposed to post a bond, or you have to spend 6 months on a procurement, and then they fail to post a bond, and it's a $2 billion capital expenditure, the government is left on the hook. No, there's nothing that the government can do. So what we want to try to do differently this year is, while we have the agriculture, and I don't want to dwell on that example necessarily, but while we have that project, that irrigation, procurement, and capex, we have other projects that we can execute if something doesn't come through. That is what we're going to try differently this year.
And we have the capacity within, whether it's the public investment management system, bureaucracy, to have those projects almost running concurrently, that you can, if something falls through, you can fill in the gap there?
We do. I mean, it requires focus, but there are, I would say, standard kind of capex that we can get in a position to be executed if we have, if it becomes clear that we're having problems with other projects.
Dr. Clark, the Finance Minister, emphasized the importance of proper critical expenditure.
But that is the strategy as Minister of Finance and Public Service. It's very important to me for the country. The country, you know, there's nothing that has the capacity to improve quality of life like capital expenditure and public investment. And so the country runs the risk of falling behind if we cannot grow and execute on our capex at a required rate. And I'm on record for being concerned about that from 2 points. One, the point of sort of crowding out capital expenditure and not enough resources in the budget left for capex. But the other point is one you raised, having made the allocation for capex, being in a position to execute on it. So that is a change of strategy I'll be trying this year.
That's Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. He was speaking at today's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee. He also touched on the SPARK program, that's the Shared Prosperity Through Accelerated Improvement to Our Road Network. He was answering questions from his opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson.
No, this doesn't fall specifically under your portfolio, but what is the approach that the government plans to take to the SPARK program from a procurement perspective, particularly given the challenges that we have faced with other roadwork programs like the 40 million that was announced in November 2022. The issue here is, I think everybody, once an announcement is made, our constituents are eagerly awaiting implementation. So how we're going to manage this procurement so we can actually get to implementation in 24-25.
So if speaking specifically about that program, I mean, clearly the prototype was the $40 million program, yeah? And that prototype definitely showed up huge weaknesses, particularly in a modality that required procurement on a constituency by constituency basis, with each road having 4 people and we bidding it road by road, or 5 people. Now, I know that this, in a space of members of parliament, people can have an allergic reaction to what I'm about to say, but I think if we don't learn from experience, then we're going to repeat, we're going to have the same outcomes. And the central lesson from that program is that to procure repairs to roads on a road-by-road basis, constituency by constituency, generates far too much administrative work for the output. That program generated over 300 individual procurements to spend $2.6 billion or thereabouts. And that is why it has taken the time it has taken. You can't add enough people to process 300 procurements in any, right? What we're going to have to do, and you know, I'm speaking here as Minister of Finance and Public Service responsible for the procurement process. You can't expect to have 300 procurements and get anything done in anything less than 24 to 36 months. what we're going to have to do is that program is going to have to be consolidated. And it is, and that has its own challenges. But as a parliament responding to the people's business, we are going to have to prioritize efficiency. Right? Prioritize efficiency.
That's Dr. Nigel Clark. He was speaking today at Parliament's Standing Finance Committee. Well, that's where we're going to leave it. Coming up next is Nature's Remedy with pharmacognosist Dr. Denise Daly.
New crunch sandwich from KFC. Great flavor, great price, it's for me. KFC signature, hot and spicy. Chicken with the lettuce, mayo, fries and Pepsi. We've got you covered when you're hungry. The new crunch sandwich from KFC. We've got you covered when you're hungry. The new crunch sandwich from KFC.
Hungry for deals? Get the new Crunch Sandwich Combo from KFC. A small hot and spicy chicken sandwich with lettuce and mayo, plus fries and a Pepsi for just $600. Also available in barbecue. A finger-licking good deal. KFC.
NHT contributors. Visit the NHT website today to see the application results for Friendship Oaks Housing Development in St. Elizabeth. Results will also be published in the newspapers on Wednesday, March 6, 2024. That was an announcement from the National Housing Trust.
Dive into a holistic healing symphony with Dr. Denise Daly as she explores the incredible healing potential of the Nature's Remedies. Starting January 9, 2024, Nationwide at 5 hosts the Nature's Remedies from 7 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday. The segment bestows a plethora of organic wellness wisdom onto all listeners. If you're uncomfortable with popping all those pills, then embark on this natural journey and discover how the Nature's Remedies can help. Tune in for the facts that will transform your perspective on herbal solutions and natural therapies. That's Nature's Remedies, every Tuesday during Nationwide at 5 from 7 to 8 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Good God of mercy, hey. Good God of grace, hey. Lord of mercy, hey. Spirulina build up me confidence. Rastafari run the continent. This King Selassie I pay the consequence. Don't get it confused. Lord, give me your buckle of spirulina and make me mix up the
It's 7:03. You're back with Nationwide News, and with that ringing in, it's time for Nature's Remedies with pharmacognosist Dr. Denise Daly. This week's episode is going to be about hypertension. Our expert guest for the program, Denise Daly, will tell us what herbs, what natural remedies are best to be used to tackle this issue. And we'll also be opening the lines at 7:30, so you can call in with any questions you might have for the good doctor. Good evening, Dr. Daly, again. It's good to see you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you doing? It's a pleasure being here.
Same here to have you with us again for another evening. This evening, it's all about hypertension.
All about hypertension. And what can we do to naturally help ourselves manage our blood pressure? Mm-hmm. We'll also talk a little bit about low blood pressure as well.
Okay, go ahead.
For those Jamaicans, for those Jamaicans, explain to them what hypertension is, because they may know it as a different term. So just explain to them.
Sure. So hypertension or high blood pressure, sometimes in Jamaica we just say pressure. We have pressure. And that refers to when our blood pressure is high, it's elevated. What exactly is happening inside our bodies? So as the blood flows through our blood vessels, I want us to imagine when we turn on a hose, we turn on that pipe and the water is flowing through the hose. It's a similar thing that's happening within our bodies through our blood vessels. Now imagine someone stepping on the hose. What's happening to that water that's flowing in? You see there's a big swelling, and if the hose is not of a good quality material, it can literally burst. Now the pressure is increasing in that narrow tube. That can also happen inside our bodies. So when there's an increase in the amount of pressure within our blood vessels, that's when we experience high blood pressure. Now, what is required or needed, we have to go to the doctor, get our blood pressure checked, or if you have the machine at home or your local pharmacy, get your blood pressure checked to see how close is it to normal, which is about 120/80. You have some persons that will hover above and below, but once you have that high or extremely elevated blood pressure, it is an extremely serious issue that needs immediate attention. It can lead to so many other ailments and emergencies that we need to pay attention to. So, what can we do?
Herbs now to deal with the high blood pressure.
Definitely. So, some herbs that we can find easily throughout Jamaica: bird pepper. Do you know your bird pepper? Those little small bird peppers, they are quite effective at lowering the blood pressure. What it does, it helps with nerve pain. It helps to relax the blood vessels as well. And it's not only your Jamaican bird pepper, your cayenne, your capsaicum species, all those capsaicum, those spicy peppers, they help to relax the blood vessels. And specifically your bird pepper, it helps to stimulate your white blood cells. So they're flowing through the blood. Your blood vessels are a little more relaxed. And the active component that's in it that helps us with our blood pressure is your capsaicin. That's that characteristic spice or taste that you get from your peppers. So capsaicin is that bioactive, the medicinal component in your peppers that help to manage the blood vessels. And if there's any pain and inflammation, that cayenne or that pepper, the capsaicin, is very good as well to reduce the inflammation and allow your blood to flow and normalize your pressure.
Well, how should you consume it? How should you consume the cayenne?
The bird pepper or your cayenne, you can have it as a part of your meals. So you can add it to your meals, make a nice broth. I would say when you're making a nice broth or a thin soup, add your peppers with some thyme, your scallion, because those are also herbs that help to manage blood pressure. The thymol that's in your thyme that we cook with, that helps to manage your blood pressure as well. So imagine you're making a little soup. You have some corn silk. You know that part of the corn that we often take off and we throw away?
Yes.
The ears?
Yes.
Good for your blood pressure. So you can leave it on your corn.
I didn't know that. We always take it out. We always take it off and throw it away.
Leave a little bit in there, even if you boil it in the water, and then if you don't want to eat it, you can get rid of it. But that's a lot of fiber too. So I usually leave a little bit on the corn. I know we want our corn to look smooth when we're eating it, but having that corn silk helps to lower our blood pressure as well.
Now that I know this.
Yes, leave some on it, man. So you have your corn silk with your corn, you have your thyme and your scallion, you have your bird pepper and a little pimento. So that's a nice thin soup you can have to help manage your blood pressure with all those herbs. Now, I don't know if you guys usually do this growing up. When you have the partially ripe mangoes, or you call them the turn mango, and you'd cut it up, you'd slice it or put it in some brine, some salt water with some black pepper, and then you run and you find some bird pepper and you make it soak. Now that combination of the bird pepper and so on is an immune builder. Now you don't want the salt so much if you have high blood pressure, but it helps to immune build if you have a normal blood pressure and helps to stimulate the blood vessels to open and for your blood to flow. So I just remember that little remedy. I don't know what are some of the variation other persons usually use, but those combination of foods and herbs is also good to maintain your pressure.
Good.
Lignum vitae. What about our national tree? Do we know of any medicinal purposes of our tree? Is it just one of our monuments? No, it is not. Lignum vitae leaves are very good as a tea to help us manage our blood pressure.
Oh.
Yes, so that's your lignum vitae leaves. The bark as well is also very good. So you can have the bark, you can boil it. So not just draw, but actually get your water, put it in the pot, with a little bit of your lignum vitae bark, boil it, let it cool, and then you can have that twice a day, morning, evening, or if you have it in the morning, you can have it the other day. And that is also another way to manage your blood pressure throughout the day. We know of garlic. That's the go-to most persons will run for. If you have basil, keep that handy as well. And another herb that we have in a lot of our yards is the soursop. Tell me you guys have soursop.
Yes, I do. Not so Siobhan.
Siobhan?
If I had a yard, I would have soursop.
But you have access to your soursop. Listen, every yard should have a soursop leaf, similar to what I usually say about aloe, leaf of life, and moringa. Try to have your soursop. If you don't have it in the yard, have access. So pick a branch from your neighbor, pick off the leaves, wash it, and keep it in your kitchen. Soursop is one of those plants that the fruit is medicinal and nutritional. So it has a lot of vitamins and minerals. And the leaves are also helpful in managing your blood pressure. So it will lower it if it's too high, and if it's too low, it will normalize it. So it's one of those nutritive herbs that you can have to manage your blood pressure as well. And we'll talk about soursop again, because when you look at anti-cancer effects and anti-cancer power, your soursop leaf is potent and rich. And it doesn't matter how much processing we do in the lab to reconstruct some of the compounds in the soursop leaf. It always turns out that the leaf in its natural state is as best as you can get to one of nature's remedies.
So hold on, Doc. So where the use of the soursop is concerned, is it the leaf or the juice that we should focus on for the medicinal properties or gains?
Both. It's both, even the bark. So let's look at the different parts. So for the leaves, when you have the leaves, you can have it every day, similar to your mint tea and your ginger tea. So the leaves have anti-cancer. It manages your blood pressure, brings it to normal. It helps to normalize your blood sugar as well. So it's a nutritive herbs. So whatever is off balance nutritionally, it has those minerals and vitamins as well. And the phytochemicals within it helps us to build our immune system and so on. So the leaf is definitely medicinal, and it's nutritive, meaning it can be used for a variety of ailments. It's one of those adaptogen type herbs. Now, the fruit is also medicinal, and different parts of the fruit. So I don't know if you guys remember the middle part of the fruit, the soursop. We call it a heart.
Yes.
What do you do with the heart? You throw it away?
Yeah,
you just throw it away.
No, guys, listen. The heart of the soursop is good for the kidneys. It is good to strengthen your urinary tract. It's good to strengthen your bladder. So growing up, you usually give kids, if they usually wet the bed every night and often, you'd give them the heart of the soursop. And it will strengthen your kidneys and keep you going.
And you just eat it like that? Or what you do with it, Doc?
You just eat it like that, similar to when you take off the green parts of the fruit and you're going to juice and you take out a little peck. Don't throw the heart, just bite it like you're eating banana.
Oh?
You can have that. Or you juice it up too. Juice it up as well. So don't lose our medicinal power at all.
You know, I'm a fruit man, eh? And neeseberries coming into season now.
Yes.
And recently I've plucked up the courage to just eat the neeseberry, everything in it, except the seed. And
that is good.
That inner part of the neeseberry. Well, you didn't come prepared to talk about neeseberry this evening. But
but neeseberry is very good. Apart from the nutrients it has fiber. It's rich in fiber. And it's a natural sugars as well. So it's the fiber that's there and the color, that dark brown color, it helps to build the blood. So neeseberry, eat all parts of neeseberry. So just wash the skin.
Yes.
Don't even peel it. Wash the skin nicely.
Right.
And have your fiber-filled neeseberry. You have soluble fiber and your insoluble fiber in your neeseberry.
But wouldn't diabetics be concerned about the sugar in the neeseberry, doctor?
It is not a high glycemic index food, so it's not going to spike your blood sugar too high. It is more towards a medium to low, especially if you don't have too many. So moderation is always important.
That's the key.
Because if we get carried away with how nice it is, your eating too much of your natural sugars, and that's when it becomes harmful or not as ideal. So you have your 1 to 2 gooseberry, and you walk it off, and you should be fine.
Good. So the soursop, before we go to the break, the soursop, the heart of the soursop, don't throw it away. Eat it.
Yes.
Eat it
Good
because
for-
it's good for your blood pressure.
Yes, your kidneys and your blood flow.
Well, you teach me a lot, Doc. I didn't know these
Yeah.
things at all. Let's
You're
go to the
welcome.
break and come back.
Coconut water fi wash off your heart. Hey, nobody coulda say Rasta soft. Me go link Viva fast and never fever grass. Hey, Spirulina we blending, so you know I'll be spending every dollar out of me bill for.
Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888 Sagicor to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
When the smoke clears and the battle has been won, true warlords still a stand.
When the smoke clears and the battle has been won, he's still having fun. Father, husband, writer, producer, singer, DJ, national OD, but him never overdose on the hype.
You're messing with my heart.
Talk show host, yeah, he made the cut. So we need to know the man on a mission. There was a time it seemed impossible. But we will hear some of the story, maybe some secrets.
Lord, I pray.
Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: Marshall in town.
Marshall in town. This is the Marshall town.
You know how we do. Choo-choo-choo, woo.
Marshall in town. Tell them beware Marshall in town.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Dr. Daly is a corporate wellness and corporate social responsibility CSR strategist. She is also a former program director for the College of Health Services at the University of Technology. She does seminars, presentations, and workshops on herbs, herbal care, medicinal food, nutraceuticals, and functional food. Dr. Daly also has a skincare manufacturing company, Nassare R&M Company Limited. They make all-natural skincare and manufacture for personal consultations, small businesses, hotels, and villas. She is also a natural products consultant. You can contact her via email at drdenisedaily@gmail.com for bookings and consultations. She can also be found on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Denise Daly.
Good God of mercy, hey. Good God of grace, hey. Lord of mercy, hey. Spirulina build up me confidence.
Welcome back. It's 7:18 and we're still discussing nature's remedies, those natural herbs that help us to our day-to-day living. We have with us Dr. Denise Daly, or pharmacognosist, as we talk about hypertension, what herbal natural remedies can be used to manage that very difficult situation that I think 30% of Jamaicans face. So, Dr. Daly, we just talked about bird pepper. We talked about the soursop and the lignum vitae, that one which came as quite a surprise to me. I did not know. Other than the decorative and the prestige of being our national flower, I had no idea that there were remedies.
Definitely, yes.
Remedies
is our not just our national tree, but it has so many medicinal properties. It's also antimicrobial and has shown anti-cancer properties as well with the leaf extract. So
what other? So go ahead, doctor. I say what other herbs?
That is another topic we'll look into when we look at our national tree, our national flower, and our national food, our ackee.
So what other herbs, doctor, can we use to manage hypertension? That's high blood pressure for those who are unaware of the actual term.
Yes. So we'll look now at our breadfruit.
Breadfruit?
When last have you had some breadfruit?
Well, last time I had some fried breadfruit. It was probably not the most healthy way to have it, but that would have been 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's good. If it's not too consistent with the frying, it's fine. Moderation is key again. So breadfruit is another plant, another natural remedy in terms of keeping our blood pressure towards normal or lowering your blood pressure. Now, in terms of the fruit itself, or the fruit, Artocarpus altilis, that's the one that we eat. Now, overall, within that genus, the Artocarpus, there are over 50 different species of breadfruit across the world. And it's found in like Southeast Asia, Indonesia, the Caribbean, Central and South America and the Caribbean. So breadfruit is quite popular. It's one of those staple foods as well. The fruit itself don't last as long when it's turned or fully ripe.
Yes.
So having it as a flower extends the shelf life. So that's how we can have it shipped or in different food forms like breadfruit chips and so on. You can have different ways of preparing your breadfruit. For example, breadfruit smoothie. Have you ever had that or tried that?
No. Only way I've eaten breadfruit was roasted it or fried it.
Listen, breadfruit is so versatile. You need to try a breadfruit smoothie. Boil your green breadfruit. You're going to then blend it up with your cinnamon and your nutmeg and whichever milk you want to use, like your coconut milk, almond milk, or dairy, and have a nice breadfruit smoothie. Now, breadfruit, separate from being a staple and having starch, so it's filling, it also has potassium, fiber, calcium, iron. And why I mention potassium so much, potassium is that mineral that helps to manage our blood pressure. So if you know, a lot of foods that are high in sodium are not good for our blood pressure. And we'll talk about salts in a little bit more, but the potassium helps to balance our sodium as well, so that you have that sodium potassium pump, we call it, in our body. It helps to regulate the amount of sodium that's in our blood. Now, if we're not having enough foods with potassium, then that sodium potassium pump is not working effectively, and that can also cause an elevation of our blood pressure. So we want to have enough foods that have in potassium. The breadfruit fruit is one such food that is good, and it also has fiber. And that fiber helps to lower the cholesterol, which also helps to manage our blood pressure and prevents that buildup of plaque and atherosclerosis in our blood vessels. All right. So including potassium-rich foods in our diet, even ripe bananas are good for potassium. So that's good for your blood pressure. Green bananas, when you cook it, you increase the amount of your minerals available to be eaten. That's also good for your blood pressure. So including some of those fruits. Now going back to your breadfruit, do you know the yellow belly breadfruit?
Yes.
Or yellow heart? Yeah.
Yes. Because we have to explain that one to me. I don't know what they call the yellow belly one.
Or yellow heart.
Yellow heart.
That's the breadfruit. When you cut it, it looks yellow and rich, and it's slightly sweeter.
Yes.
And then you have the white one, or the creamish colored one. Now that yellowness is the beta carotene in it, similar to the beta carotene in your carrot or in your mangoes or pumpkin. So that's very good for the eyes, and it's also a good antioxidant. So it also increases the potency or the ability of the breadfruit or these compounds to help the body. So which other part of the breadfruit can be had and is beneficial for your blood pressure? So we spoke about the fruit. In Jamaica and in parts of the Caribbean, we also use the leaf. We can drink the leaf as a tea. Just get the leaf, crush it up, maybe like the mature leaf, right? So you probably cut it in half and have pieces of it. Mature leaf, if it has some of the yellowing on it, you know that it's very mature, so that's even better. Can make it as a tea. Sometimes persons will get the leaf, boil it a little bit, and wrap it around the head to reduce blood pressure and to help with any headaches, especially if it's, those headaches that are penetrating the head or as very much. Let's use that. All right, so that's with the leaf. The breadfruit bark is also very good. In other parts of the world, they use the bark. They'll drink the bark twice a week to help to manage the blood pressure, and combining it with different things, different herbs to make it a little more palatable, like probably some cinnamon or something, a little honey, can help to help with the drinking of your bark, your breadfruit bark as well. So those are some ways to have it. Even to tie it around the head, some persons will get a cotton cloth. You get a cloth, you soak it with some alcohol, and you put the breadfruit leaf around it and put it around your head as well. And that helps to reduce the blood pressure and relaxes the nerves as well. So grab your breadfruit leaves.
So what else do you have on the docket for us, Doc?
All right, so or sorrel. Hibiscus,
Sorrel.
sorrel. Yes, sorrel is very good.
I think this is one that a lot of people can relate to.
Yes. So in December, everybody's blood pressure is almost normal, and we're happy and enjoying the holidays. But the medicinal benefits of sorrel, and especially how we prepare our sorrel with the pimento
And we draw it.
ginger, and we dry it. Yes, we're pulling out the medicinal properties, that deep red. And you know you don't make your sorrel in your shine dishes. You use stainless steel or glass, right? You don't use your regular pots. Your iron pots. Anybody? Cliff Siobhan? You don't dry your sorrel?
Yes, man. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, you can't have Christmas without sorrel, Doc.
I'm just checking if you dry your own sorrel or if you buy the one that's already made.
Oh, that's a different question they asked me. Me drink my sorrel, then if me can dry it.
All right. So that's what I was checking, because how you prepare your sorrel as well help to determine the medicinal properties of it.
Yeah.
Now, our forefathers usually just say, make sure you make it in a bucket. You use a bucket or a glass container. Why? In certain pots, if you draw the sorrel in certain pots, you realize it changed the color of the inside of the pot.
Oh.
And the sorrel tastes different.
Yes.
That is because the metal is reacting with the minerals and the compounds within your sorrel. So you stain your pot inside stained or looks different, and your sorrel tastes different. It loses some of its potency. So how you make it make a difference.
Yeah.
Now, sorrel has a lot of anthocyanin. And anthocyanin, not only being that antioxidant that helps to grab and protect our cells from damage, but it also stimulates and reduces the buildup of plaque. And when we say plaque, that's when we have trans fats and all those heavy fats sitting in our blood vessels. So it helps to clear out our blood vessels as it flows through. So sorrel is very good to be had throughout. And you can have it as a drink. You can make some nice sorrel jam and jellies.
I don't get used to the bottled one yet that we buy in the supermarket. I have to still like the original sorrel.
So
it tastes different and better.
It tastes different. Yes, just get some sorrel growing, plant them up, and just reap your sorrel and dry it.
Yep. And it's good for, just to repeat?
It's good for the blood pressure.
Okay.
So it's a nutritive as well, very good for the blood pressure, and it's good to lower cholesterol.
Remember, we are taking your questions for Dr. Daly, right, on Nature's Remedies. So if you have any questions about treating your high blood pressure, yes, please give us a call for Dr. Daly.
Give me a buckle of spirulina, and make me mix up the roots with Medina. Come off a tour and me knee feel weak, so me go a walk road and go link fever. What good for your nerves, so what's up and sapata, coconut water fi wash off your heart.
Time to pay your tax? Relax! You've got this with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes and get a 1-month payment holiday. New cardholders get first-year annual fee waived. Plus, you get up to 55 days interest-free and earn unlimited reward points every time you spend. So when you're ready to pay your tax, relax! You've got this. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school? And now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less,
or 2 or 3,
at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure.
The solution is simple, right? Act now.
Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Good God have mercy.
Just before we come back, I have to tell you there is an item of news just coming in. We have been able to confirm with a source at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, quote, there's a very big fire on at the oil refinery, PetroJam oil refinery in downtown Kingston, Spanish Town Road. Yes, that's the Boulevard, Marcus Garvey Drive. Yeah, Marcus Garvey Drive. We gather from a source at the fire service at least 4 units from the Jamaica Fire Brigade are fighting to contain the blaze, and it's not good because that's where petroleum.
Yes, that's where the country's petroleum is refined.
Yes, so we are watching that carefully for you, but it's not good. You don't want to hear about a fire at your oil refinery at all, and we hear from a very reliable source, just spoke to me, said that it is a big fire. Okay, our news center is on to it, Miss Powell. Yes, and we're gonna try and make contact with someone from the fire service who is actually at the scene to give us a little bit more. All right, we have a call online. Richie for Dr. Daly.
Good evening to the panel.
Good evening.
Doc.
Good evening, Richie.
Again, I will say that you know your stuff. It is yesterday I was telling some people that when we were children, and they used to say we pee bed, this source of they used to give us. And it stopped.
Yes.
Therefore, it has something to do with the bladder.
Yes.
The source of and again, if a person have a nervous breakdown, the nerve is very, very bad. They started using the leaf to build the nerves. It's extremely good for nerves as well.
Yep.
You talk about the corn.
Yes.
I would recommend the native corn. I don't too believe in the rest of corn, but I believe in native corn.
The native corn?
The native corn, yeah.
What is that one?
The original corn that we grow. You see, like the sweet corn they sell in the market, that those corn that developed in lab. The native corn is our own original corn from what we know from children's days.
Oh.
That's the native one.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to tell you something again.
Yeah.
As I cultivate a lot of different things over the many years. And the corn, the green corn, I believe in the Bible when Christ and his disciples were into a grain field in corn. It was the corn they eating. And again, if you pick the corn from the tree and heat it like that, you don't cook it anymore. The texture is gone whenever you cook it. It is extremely sweet. It was a powerful fruit. You talk about the source. The source of, I have a source of pound with at least 80 bearing source of. Presently, I have at least 50 pounds of source up in my portion, which I reap yesterday.
Nice.
Source up is a powerful cancer-fighting fruit. Extremely powerful. Source up is there. You talk about the sorrel.
Yes.
This type of sorrel, I mean, they develop in lab again, so I'm not even sure about them. But see, the original sorrel that we used to use before, when you draw that tonight and put it down until tomorrow, the thing that you draw it into is change the color completely. That's how it's effective is for the system. So, all in all, in terms of exercising is one I think that I really recommend for that high blood pressure. When you exercise, it helps to break down the blood in the system, thin it out in other words. So exercise is one of the things that I recommend for high blood pressure.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Doc, again, you know your stuff.
Thank you. And thank you for your words. It's definitely true.
Bye-bye.
Exercise.
Yeah.
Exercise should be added to the list of remedies, natural remedies, because it really does help in lowering your blood pressure. It gets your blood flowing and gets your cells taking up the glucose so we can actually lower our blood pressure.
All right.
And using up stored fat.
Well, it's 25 minutes going up to 8 o'clock.
This is breaking news from Nationwide Radio.
Well, we have decided to treat it as a breaking news now because this is serious. The Commissioner of the Fire Brigade, Stuart Beckford, has just confirmed to our news center that we have a major fire on at the oil refinery, PetroJam, on Marcus Garvey Drive, and several units are there, and more units are heading to the PetroJam oil refinery on Marcus Garvey Drive in South St. Andrew. This is serious. Of course, you know, PetroJam is the operator there, the oil refinery, and it's a major oil refinery, and you don't want to have a fire at your oil refinery. And based on what we are now learning, yes, it is a big fire. Yes, the fire service is pulling out all the stops, we're told, by the commissioner. He himself is heading there to marshal the forces, the fire brigade, the firefighters, to really bring this fire under control and hopefully to contain it. Yes, but that's the situation. It is serious. All right?
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark. On Tuesday, March 12, Dr. Clark will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2024 to 2025. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark's opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 12, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 12.
Good God of mercy, hey. Good God of grace, hey. Lord of mercy, hey.
Yes, as you heard, listeners, the item of breaking news, there seems to be a massive fire at the PetroJam oil refinery in downtown, and we'll have more in the newscast at a later time as we get the information, but until then we press on with Nature's Remedies, and we have a call on the line. Arthur?
Good evening.
Go again, Arthur, you were breaking up there.
No, I said good evening.
Okay, we can hear you, Arthur. Go ahead with your question. You have a question for Dr. Daly? Try calling back. Arthur. Your line is breaking up. Please try calling back. So, Dr. Daly, I actually have a question myself. This matter of hypertension, I know there are many people who suffer from both hypertension and diabetes. So, are there any natural remedies that you can use to tackle both diseases simultaneously?
Yes, and these are the ones you'll call your nutritive herbs, like your moringa. It helps to normalize blood pressure, blood sugar. Your leaf alive, your aloe vera, and your ginger. So these herbs are nutritive, and some, when you combine them as tonics, they help to manage and normalize whatever is going array inside of the body. And we mentioned noni. How can I forget noni? Major adaptogen. Very good at normalizing both, because it also has the fiber component, the phytochemicals or the medicinal components in them, and the minerals that we need for each of these ailments, for your blood, for your body or your cells to take up the nutrients from the blood.
I think we have another caller on the line. Del, can you hear me? Hello, Del. Can you go again?
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, Del. You have a question for the doctor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm not sure if you can answer this question, but I'm thinking that some of the ripe fruits in the market, like pine and bananas, that they're spraying this stuff on, it's right. How affected, if you have any idea?
I don't know if you can hear her, Doctor. She was a little low, but she's asking the ripe fruits, things like pines, bananas, those things that you can get in the market. How effective are those in terms of tackling high blood pressure?
Not the high blood pressure, they are spraying stuff on it for them to ripe.
Oh.
Natural ripe. Yes, spraying the banana with stuff on the pine and so on to let them ripe.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying how safe is it for consumption, or how will it affect the blood pressure?
The body overall.
Your body, all right. Yes, so in the food industry and agriculture industry, they do spray, like when our fruits that we're going to be shipping to different areas and for transportation purposes, they'll spray them with ethylene, for example. That is naturally found in our fruits that ripens them. So they'll extract it, spray it on the fruit, pick the fruit when it's turned, just about ripe, and then spray it so they can transport it so they don't spoil on the way and you actually can get value for your work that you put in. So that is one of the safer ways that we spray our foods, preserve it for transportation so we have healthier fruit to eat. Now, when you naturally have it, it would be similar to when we naturally try to ripen our turned fruits. When we wrap it up in newspaper and we put it in a dark cupboard, and that is with some of our fruits that are able to ripe to produce its ethylene when it's off the tree. So like gooseberry, your banana, your pineapple, your avocado or your pear, some of those fruits. But once it's a natural preservative like that, your ethylene that the plant produces, it's safe for the body. But I know sometimes there can be harmful ones.
Okay.
All right, Dell still with us?
Petal, you there, Petal?
Yes, I am. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening. How are you?
I am doing well. Trevor, good evening to you and good evening to Mr. Cliff. I know he must have stepped out.
He stepped out for a bit, yes, but
yeah,
evening, Petal.
Me know emergency. Doc, boy, you're something else. 2 questions for you. No, 3 actually. The soil, you can't emphasize enough. Let the listeners know that those aluminum pots to boil, to draw, bad for them. Very, very bad. It's either glass or stainless steel, the shine pot them. Make them know that do. Because that's how we are kill off ourselves with this aluminum pot. Those aluminum pots contribute to cancer. Isn't that so, Doc?
Yes, it is. That's what I was saying. It changes the color.
I don't think some person paying attention to what you're saying. The soil, that's my favorite drink, Doc. So I really, really go at learning about it, and I recognize. The Africans call it Zobo. You know that, Doc?
Well, yes.
The soil, they call it Zobo. Yes.
Zobo.
But
well, you have some different
I'm asking you. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you. Yes. I don't know the common name.
The common name?
No, the Zogo. I know some other names for it, but yeah.
Okay. The soursop leaf. You said we can drink it every day, but is in the green we can drink it green? I mean, you always say 2 or 3 leaves, that's sufficient. But or should we dry the leaf? I'm curious about that.
Yeah. When you dry the leaf, it is more potent. It's stronger when you dry the leaf. Especially for the leaf,
but nothing is wrong if you do it. You do it the green leaf?
Nothing is wrong when you use the green leaf. It just has the water in it.
Okay.
So you
one more question for you, Doc. Doc, that remedy that you gave for sore throat, the one that you gave, what was it again? When you were losing your voice, and the caller called in, and she said how it helped her. I'm not remembering what you said.
It was with the eucalyptus. The eucalyptus oil, you get your toothpick and you put it in the honey. Like you dip the toothpick in the eucalyptus oil, you get a teaspoon of your honey, and you just mix the eucalyptus in and you take it. When you have it, you try to gargle before you swallow, and that helps with the sore throat. Just have it every 2 to 3 hours or 2 to 3 times a day, depending on how bad the sore throat is.
Okay, so you're really drinking it, the eucalyptus oil and the honey mixed together. You're really having it like
drinking the honey with a tip of eucalyptus oil.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Before we go to the next caller, Doc, I don't want to leave the YouTubers out, or very loyal YouTube listeners. Con Reed is asking, how do you prepare the noni from the fruit?
The noni, there are two ways you can do it. You can get the fruit itself when it's ripe and just let it ferment. It actually springs a lot of water. So how you make it ferment? Tie it up in some bag or a nice glass container, close it and allow it to darken. It will get brown. It will have a characteristic smell, but it's just fermenting. You can then squeeze that juice out and that's your tonic, your noni tonic. You can also make it with water, allow it to ferment, then you kind of crush it out similar to how you'd make your soursop juice, because noni is also what called duppy soursop as well. So it's made similar to how you make your soursop juice. Add some water, squeeze the fruit to extract as much juice as possible. Then you can strain it and you can have it. You can mix it with some guava or some mango or by itself, and that's your tonic as well.
We also have our next caller, Douglas. You're on the line. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Evening, Douglas.
Evening, Douglas.
I just have my soursop on mango. When mango season come, what I do, I stockpile them. I wash them, wash my fine bag. You know that fine bag where I call crocus bag?
Yes.
I stockpile my mangoes and all my different fruits in them. I put them in the deep freeze. So when I'm ready, I just start. Even the soursop, what I do, you must tell me what I'm doing wrong here, you know. What I do is wash out the spikes off of the soursop, de-seed it, and I blend everything with my mango and my soursop and my guava. And then even what about the jackfruit and the blood pressure?
Yes, the jackfruit is good because jackfruit is also within the breadfruit family. It's Artocarpus, I don't remember the species name, but it's within the breadfruit family. So it's also good for the blood pressure, especially the jackfruit seed, where you can just boil it and have it like potato.
I have the jackfruit. See what I do? I just pressure it, and then I take off the hard outside, and I pour it.
Oh, there you go.
I live the old time life. I'm 72 years old. And what I want people to understand with me, especially the men, we're talking about blood pressure here. I have prostate cancer. And my reading now is 0.7. I'm good.
Oh.
And I check my doctor every 3 months for the pressure. And just about everything, the doctor told me, whatever I'm doing, continue to do it. So when I listen to you people, especially you, Dr. God, you know, you talk like me, you come out of the same household.
We come from the same country.
Even Gully Bean, you must tell me if I'm wrong. I just pick it straight from the tree and consume it.
Yes, man, it's on the list. Susumba.
Yes. This man I won't have to go over it, but this man will tell you about the corn straight from the tree. Wow.
All right. Yes, thank you so much.
Hold on, Carl and Doc. So somebody you call Gully Bean?
Yes.
Yes.
And what does it do for you?
I want to tell the doctor to tell me what it do for me that is bad or good, I don't know, but that's how my grandparents, to be frank, my great-great-grandfather was a doctor and his wife was a teacher, and I get some of my old-time book and read them.
Yes.
And I just eat straight. What I do with breadfruit, I don't eat the straight green breadfruit. I make it almost ripe. And then I boil it whole, wash it and boil it whole, and leave it in the boiling water. Then it cool. Then I peel it, take all the heart, and consume it like that with whatever I want, especially my Spanish needle and my callaloo and my broccoli and all these things.
So hold on there. You do it with the skin of the breadfruit and you peel off the skin?
After, you don't peel the skin and boil it in the skin. So
and you eat the skin too?
No, I think he peels it after.
I peel it. After I cook it and it cool, I peel it and take off the skin.
Okay.
Then I take out the heart.
Uh-huh.
And I consume it with anything you want. If you want to consume it straight, I do it anyhow.
Oh.
Yes.
So Doc must tell me what I'm doing wrong here.
So let me ask you, Doc, I have a question. I love the breadfruit when it's ripe.
Yes.
I love it. I would roast it, yes, and just eat it like that.
Yes.
Yeah?
Good.
And so sometimes I would fry it, but I much prefer, especially in hot and ripe.
Roast and hot.
Yes, you eat it just like that, and with some butter.
A little bit. A little bit of butter.
Yes.
That's probably as bad as eating fried, though, isn't it?
Right? But a little bit.
Yes.
But I
go ahead.
I make my, what you call it, broth.
Mm-hmm.
When I make my broth, drop the ripe breadfruit. After we cook the breadfruit, as I said, and slice it up, I drop it in and make it simmer a little. And then I have everything like you'd have in soup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right? I just eat natural. I eat everything, you know. Everything we sell at the shop, I eat it. But most of what I eat, my family don't eat it from me. So when I do it, I know them not really fool around it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I love it. Yes, you're doing well. I love how you're eating and what you say and some of the recipes that you just shared with us. And I wouldn't change a thing. Only thing I'll take out is some of the soursop seeds, because too much of the seeds can be potent or too toxic. So just take out some of the soursop seed. Everything else is good. Nature's way, nature's remedies. Build up back the body.
I'm surprised at the soursop seed. I would learn that it enhances Parkinson's disease.
Yes.
It does what for Parkinson's?
It enhances Parkinson's disease.
What do you mean enhances it?
It increases it.
Oh?
It's a seed.
The seed of the soursop?
The seed of the soursop. I don't use it.
So you mustn't use it, period, then?
All these things.
No, you take it out.
Okay.
Yes, I take them out.
Right. Yes.
So I just take them out, the green skin outside. After I wash off the spikes, I blend everything with my mango and my mango skin. And okay, you see the hard jelly, doctor, if I'm wrong, you must tell me so I hurt myself. You know, you say, not
well, let's say I tell you about the seed. Take out the seed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I take out the seeds.
Oh.
And have some guinea hen weed.
And I use my jelly water and do all these things.
Oh, that's the other thing. Coconut water, very good for blood pressure. All the electrolytes in there. Yes.
You know, other people may have something to say, but I have
Thank you, sir.
So I'll give it to somebody else. But
Yes.
if you can't take my number, because me an old time soldier already. I call him Mr. Perkins.
I hear you, sir.
Thank you, Douglas.
Susumba, go back to the Susumba, Doc.
Yeah.
In some countries, Susumba, people don't like Susumba because they don't say obia.
Yes, a duppy bean.
Yes.
Yes, they do say that. But it is very nutritious. It's very good for the liver. That bitterness, it's very good for the blood as well, cleansing the blood. And, you know, when you have it as a tea or you boil it, especially when you boil it, it increases how the benefits of the body. I know one way growing up we'll have it is with ackee and saltfish and susumba. And somehow it didn't taste as bitter.
Oh.
And that is one of the benefits of, you know, combining our nature's remedies or our foods. It creates that synergistic effect where it doesn't taste as bad, but it still has a benefit to our body.
You know,
too much susumba is not good though.
Cannot be. But Doc, you know,
Right.
one of the fruits I wanted to spend a little time on one of these weeks, custard apple.
Yes.
Custard apple.
Yes.
I love custard apple. I have it with
Yes.
my ice cream. Yeah? But it can be clouding, but I can't have too much of it.
That is it.
I
It's
want to
true.
know what are the benefits and if it's dangerous for my diabetes.
All right. We'll look into custard apple.
Yes.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But moderation. So you
True.
say you like it.
Yes.
Hopefully it's still just a small amount.
Yes, I contain myself to having one. I have one in the fridge now I'm going home to. That's my
good.
dessert for the evening.
All right, good.
Custard apple, that's what we call sweet sop, isn't it?
No, there's a difference between custard apple and sweet sop. Yeah. I think they're family though. They could be. I don't know.
Yes. We need to go to country and do a field tour.
I have a question from Carleen.
Go ahead.
A question from Carleen Smith. I guess she's asking it on behalf of the gentlemen. She said, who are afraid to ask, what's good for impotence?
Oh, that's an entire week's topic.
Yeah, a whole week.
Whole week. But let's look at some quick herbs if you want to make sure they're ready to stand. Get some Medina. Medina is available right across Jamaica. Any open field, you can just look up the plant, how it looks. It looks like a little shrub, flat grass, but it is very potent in allowing the erectile muscles to start functioning again. So that's Medina.
And how you consume it?
You can chew it. Just take it and chew it, add it to salad, or you can make some tea or tonic.
Oh.
Medina.
I forgot to find it.
Yes, find your Medina. Just look it up. When we go through Men's Health, I'll give a scientific name. I can't remember right now, but it's very good for men's health. Ram goat dashalang or ram goat dashala or ternera, that's an aphrodisiac, builds up the erectile muscles again and the blood flow.
Ram goat dashalang.
Yes, ram goat dashalang. You have broomweed, donkey weed.
So what is the ram goat dashalang?
Ternera. Ternera is a scientific name. It has a bright yellow flower. It's so pretty. And once you go into the cooler sides of Jamaica, you'll see on the hillside this bright yellow flowers. That's your Ternera plant. And it's very potent. The leaves are very good as an aphrodisiac and for stimulating the production of your sperm.
Doc, you have to go do 2-3 programs on this one. Yeah? Because we need the help when I want to say it. Right, Books?
We're going to yes, so definitely. We have to make sure everybody healthy. And we have the resources. We just have to take it safely and know how to prepare it.
Yes. Okay. So when you come with a photograph of the Medina and the Ramgoat Dashalang and what the other one name?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Broomweed, your donkey weed.
Oh dear. All right. Wow. I tell you, Dr. Denise Daly, thank you so much. The time went very, very quickly. Thank you so much, Doc. Good?
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure.
Right.
Thank you.
And you see them on YouTube laughing after me. Yeah? All right. Thank you so much, Doc. Take care of yourself.
All right. Take care and have a good night.
Yes. All right. We are tracking for you the progress in containing the fire at PetroJam, and our producer says we have a bit of audio from the Energy Minister with responsibility for PetroJam, Daryl Vaz.
As Minister, I've been made aware of the fire at PetroJam that started this afternoon. Thankfully, there is no injuries, and I can say there will be no disruption as we have enough stock to supply the trade while we get back as a result of the fire. I'll issue a further statement after full assessment has been made, but there's no need for panic or worry in the industry.
All right. So that's Daryl Vaz, the Energy Minister, saying no need to panic. There's enough stock of oil to supply the trade, and we should be good. Yeah?
Doing his job,
Yes.
seeking to reassure Jamaicans and the rest of the country that this won't have too major of impact on business going forward, as PetroJam is the only oil refinery that produces for the local market here in Jamaica, if I recall.
Good. All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks to our YouTubers, our callers, Dr. Denise Daly. And gentlemen, your night is coming up. Yes? Your night is coming. Don't worry. We'll get there. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Tune in to Nationwide